The Birmingham Stallions are riding high in the USFL with 5 wins in a row, taking them from a 2-5 start to playoff contention in the tough Central Division. And last Monday night on ESPN, the Stallions ended the Michigan Panthers' 6-game winning streak with a 23-20 win in overtime on this 46-yard field goal by Scott Norwood. The standings show how critical tonight's game in Denver is to the Stallions' quest for a playoff spot. In the tough Central Division, it's still Tampa Bay, but only by a game over Chicago and only by 2 games over Michigan and the hard-charging Birmingham Stallions. The Denver Gold are the last team to beat Birmingham, but the Gold have fallen on hard times. They lead the league in only one statistic, that being attendance. The Gold tied for last in the Pacific Division with a 4-8 record along with Arizona. LA is on top, Oakland in the middle, but the Denver Gold have been struggling. And 10 days ago, head coach Red Miller was fired. And earlier this week, the Gold hired former Denver Broncos quarterback Craig Morton to be their new head coach. Morton becomes the 5th quarterback in pro football history to coach in the same city in which he played. Tonight, the Denver Gold with new head coach Craig Morton hosts the Birmingham Stallions from Mile High Stadium in Denver, live on ESPN.
Good evening from Mile High Stadium in the beautiful city of Denver, Colorado on a beautiful night. Welcome to this evening's football game between the Denver Gold and the Birmingham Stallions. These two teams met 6 weeks ago. Denver won that game 9-7. Since that time, these two teams have taken divergent paths. The Birmingham Ball Club has won 5 in a row. Denver has gone the other way. They've lost 5 in a row. Should be an interesting matchup tonight. And in the storm of a controversy just about 10 days ago, while Red Miller was fired as the Denver coach, George Armey replaced him. And just 2 days ago, Craig Morton, one of the most popular of all the Denver football players, was named the head coach of the Denver Gold. My name is Tom Kelly. My broadcast partner is Don Heinrich. What kind of an impact, Don, can Craig have on this club with only 2 days of being the boss?
Well, watching practice yesterday and talking with Craig, you're not going to see a lot of formation changes, a lot of motions, any shotgun attack. He will expect to do that within the next couple of weeks when he has more time and more input. At the moment, his biggest concern is momentum and enthusiasm. He wants them to play with reckless abandon. He wants them to try and make something good happen. He can have an impact. He is going to call the plays. And I think that you'll see a diversified attack, more throwing, more play action. This is where Craig is going to be a contributor this evening.
You certainly have to admire the job Raleigh Dutch has done. His ball club has won 5 in a row. They are really on a roll.
They certainly are, and Raleigh has done an outstanding job. His offensive line executing extremely well. The backs are picking the holes. Lane, his quarterback, has performed well. He has not gotten them into much trouble. Then the defense hasn't been questioned. They have played well all season.
But they're coming back with only 3 days rest. That could be a problem.
Definitely a problem, and Raleigh is concerned about that. The fact that they could come out flat. Mentally, they're ready. Physically, they may not be. They recognize that this is an important game for them.
42,000 fans are thereabout, we expect, on hand for this ball game tonight. In fact, they're up in the air saying good luck to Craig. Tom Mees will be along with more. First, we'll pause for this message. The red-hot Birmingham Stallions and the not-so-warm Denver Gold at Mile High Stadium on a beautiful night. Temperature of 80 degrees, 6 miles out of the northwest. That's the wind. And the field is dry and in perfect condition. Of course, it is in a baseball configuration. As you look down and see Brian Spielman getting ready to kick off. Raleigh Dutch, head coach at Birmingham, whose club has really turned it around. 5 straight wins, very much in it. And Craig Morton, who must be feeling as many nervous butterflies in his stomach as he ever did starting as a quarterback. Here he is in his first ever head coaching spot. Delightful guy, has a great personality and a very laid-back, easy manner about him. And it'll be interesting now to see how his club performs. Spielman, out of Capital, can hit the ball pretty good. And, of course, in this rarefied, thin, mile-high air, why, it's a kicker's paradise to be sure. He's got a 50-yard field goal. In fact, it was Spielman's 50-yard field goal effort that beat this Birmingham ball club the first time these two clubs met. Michael Kincaid is the deep man, getting primed for a return. Spielman's 50-yarder won that game 9-7. Though Birmingham had all the statistics in that game, Denver came out with a victory. It was their last one.
Well, you mentioned Craig Morton probably having a few butterflies. When we were talking with him yesterday, he said this would probably be the toughest game that he has ever faced. So here he is, much like Steve Spurrier, who had some college coaching experience before he took over the Tampa club. Now Craig Morton, his first time around.
Here's Spielman advancing on the ball, Don Heinrich, and the kick is not all that deep, but very high. Coming to Kincaid at the 10. Gets bumped by one of his own men and is dropped at the 15-yard line. So Birmingham will start 1st and 10 on their own 15-yard line. Downfield, making the tackle was Robert Knapton, Knapton. He's a defensive linebacker. Bobby Lane walks on to quarterback the ball club. He's had a magnificent season since ball club has put together 5 wins. He took over for the injured Reggie Collier. And he plays almost as good as the guy who, of the legendary Bobby Lane. Big hole straight ahead, Talton, and what a fine running back he is, out of the 25 to about the 27-yard line. It's a 1st and 10. And Talton's having quite a career, 3 touchdowns and 466 yards, and in the last 4 or 5 ball games, Don Heinrich, he has been outstanding.
And he certainly did nothing fancy there, as Raleigh Dodge on the sideline is looking on at his club. That time, Talton, a straight-ahead dive-type play against the 3-4 defense of Denver, opened a big hole.
Number 1 in rushing, this Birmingham ball club. Wide to the left side is Anderson. To the right side is Smith, of course. What a talented receiver. And Lane with a play-action fake and time. Upfield, caught by Anderson, dumped at the 40-yard line, dropped by Nate Miller. But not before the Birmingham Stallions have still another 1st down.
Well, they get the play-action fake coming in there as Cornelius Quarles. Then Lane, as he turns around, looking for Anderson, came down, ran a little hook, and Lane had to take just a moment before he could unload the ball, but a good catch by Anderson.
And now Anderson is flanked wide to the right, and Smith is set to the left. Another 1st down, and Birmingham is at their own 40-yard line. Talton again, big hole, up the middle into the secondary at the 48-yard line before he is knocked off his pins. Dumars and Tyler making the stop there, and Talton is finding big yardage and a lot of room to run up the middle.
Turned the play over. Adelet out in front of him, 78, gets a nice block on the linebacker to that side, and good running by Talton as he makes a little move to the inside, picks up a couple extra yards. 2 dive plays in the 1st down in both situations. Nice yardage.
2nd down and 2 now. Birmingham on their own 48-yard line. 1st possession, opening period of play, and the Stallions now send Smith in motion to the right side. And again Talton, and again a big hole, and again he's into the secondary and into Denver territory down to the 43-yard line before Gherkin can bring him down. That's going to be a pickup of 9 and another 1st and 10.
Well, once again, running over that veteran center, Tom Banks, and Buddy Adelet, who's having such a great year at the left guard. Mark Battaglia on the right side, doing a good job of knocking Whittingham, Kyle Whittingham, one linebacker out of there, and Putt Choate, the other linebacker.
Wide to the right side now is Stevens. Wide to the left is Smith. Smith comes in motion. The handoff this time to White, and White is close to the 40-yard line. And the Denver fans respond for the defensive showing by White, Short, and Turner, the 3 downed linemen. They're going to mark it at the 41, really, a gain of 2, and it'll be 2nd down and 8. And that's the first short yardage situation that Birmingham has come up with. So far, they have marched from their own 15 to the Denver 41, and they've done it in rather spectacular fashion. Anderson flanked to the left side. Smith is set wide to the right. The backs in an I formation. Lane, the quarterback. Play action fake. Has time. Out in the flat. Incomplete. Pass with the flag goes down. Pass intended across the way for Mason, the tight end.
David Martin, the corner on that side, is guilty of the infraction. Came over the top just a little quick. Again, Lane going with the play action. But David Martin, number 13, just a little bit over anxious. Played it pretty well. Got good drive on the receiver.
And the pass interference stepped off from the line of scrimmage, takes it down to the 26-yard line, and of course still another first down for this Birmingham club that has moved very steadily.
Well, the fans are cranked up. Before the game, they were all stomping in the stands very enthusiastically. But right now, Birmingham, controlling the ball primarily on the ground, has ripped some big holes in there, and a defense that has been normally pretty solid is getting taken apart at the moment.
Indeed, against the rush, why this Denver defense has been 5th in the United States Football League. Now they find themselves at their own 26-yard line, and Stallions on a move, and again it's Talton, and this time he's inside the 20 or thereabouts. Brought down by number 53, that'd be Kelvin Newton getting a starting assignment. He's out of TCU, a rookie, 6-footer, 220-pound outside linebacker. Mark it right at the 20, gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Talton out of Cornell has 2 years of pro experience, 6'1" and 195-pounder. He's a smooth running back, and he picks his holes well, and he's getting outstanding support and a great opportunity to run from that offensive line, which is becoming one of the very best, if not the best, in the USFL. Smith comes in motion. Lane is the quarterback. Hands to Johnson, breaking inside, and he's down to the 15-yard line. Lonnie Johnson out of Indiana is another 2-year pro running back, and Whittingham makes the stop, and Johnson is playing more and more on not only scrimmage plays, but kick return and punt return specialties.
Banks at center. Tom Banks, the veteran, as he steps back, got a pretty good angle on Lavelle Short. Short starting after having been injured. Doesn't really blow him back. Banks more of a finesse type center. He gets the job done, forces Short to go around him, and they pick up some yards.
Mason's the tight end, and Smith, along with Anderson, flanked to the left side. Blitz showing by the goal. Does the handoff to White, trying to turn the corners, dropped it about the line of scrimmage. Very good play. Short was there. Dumar's coming up as well. And big number 92, that's Lavelle Short, 260-pound middle guard out of Colorado. And there's White going off the field. Billy White, of course, is the son of the famed baseball Bill White.
You can see why David Dumars leads that secondary with 105 tackles. He's up there at a strong force position. Of course, he does know that Birmingham is primarily a running team, so he was quick to react, got up and made a nice tackle.
It's 2nd down and 10. First time that Birmingham has been stopped for no gain in this series, which started on their own 15. Lane back to throw. Downfield in the end zone. Touchdown for Birmingham. And down to congratulate the receiver Smith is Anderson. Smith getting the touchdown. For Smith, it is his 2nd on the year. He came into the ball game with 28 receptions. And here's Lane throwing it again.
Excellent protection up front, as you can see the offensive line not letting anybody in. Lane having plenty of time to let Smith operate. He runs down, does a little hook number, hits the crack between the safety and the cornerback. Another angle of him coming downfield. You can see the linebacker coming that way as he goes to the turn-in. Big mistake by the safety man at that point, as he's too far off. There's no sense covering him deep in the end zone, and he was 5 yards deep.
And the try for the extra point by Norwood should be routine. Norwood puts it up and through the uprights. And so we've got a timeout coming with 9:43 to go, first period. Birmingham leads 7-0. On the sidelines, Craig Morton talking with one of his players, obviously from the defensive unit. And now we'll see whether his ball club can generate some offense as they get their first crack at the football. Kicking off will be for Birmingham, Norwood. And the deep man, that's Scott Stamper. He's a rookie out of Fort Lewis. And White, also a newly signed member of the Denver Gold from Stanford University. And across the way, James, as we see Norwood teeing it up.
Well, you have to think that Craig Morton's a little bit concerned about his defense, but as long as he's been around, he's seen clubs move down the field early before. Now it's a case, as you've indicated, that what will his offense do? And Craig is going to be calling the plays. You know, they asked him, are you going to let somebody call their own? You always wanted to as a quarterback. Now that you're the coach, what are you going to do? He said, I'll call them.
So Norwood hits it, and the kickoff is high, coming to James, and he and Stamper, and James ends up with it and comes back straight up the middle, over the 20 and out to about the 23-yard line. That drive by Birmingham that netted him the first touchdown, 9 plays, 84 yards, took him 5 minutes and 17 seconds, and Lane with his touchdown toss to Smith. For Lane, it is his 8th touchdown toss of the year. For Smith, his 2nd touchdown catch. and it was a near-perfect drive engineered by Bobby Lane and the Birmingham Stallions. Larry Canada, along with Harry Sidney, are in the backfield for the Denver Gold. The quarterback is Fred Mortensen, number 14. He's out of Arizona State, 6'1" and 193-pounder. And he's not had much playing time this year. Quarterback has been a problem here at Denver with Johnson down and Knaufel traded away. Now going in motion is James, and rolling to the left is Mortensen, and he's going for the bomb downfield, but it's all Stallions nearest the ball. Billy Caesar was down there along with Michael Thomas, and Craig Morton brought an ooh and an ah from the crowd, even though it was incomplete. He was going for the downs on the first play, Don Heinrich.
Yes, and another good thing about that is that oftentimes in calling plays, people will have a reluctance to want to go deep. They'll keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it gets too late. Better to go early, get those defensive corners aware of the threat of going deep, as Durden did there, and even though it did not work, it makes them extremely conscious, and as the game goes along, it gives them a chance to throw underneath them.
Second down and 10. The ball is at the Denver 21-yard line. You can see Reed, cornerback, on the left side. He's right up on the line of scrimmage. Mortensen straight back to throw. Has some time and now is wrapped up and dropped. Hitting him was Mike Raines, one of the three captains for tonight's game, selected by Birmingham coach Raleigh Dodge. And Raines was right in on top of Mortensen.
Well, that's Raines' 5th sack of the season, coming from the right side of your screen, 79. You see the twist going on the inside, but Raines coming right over the top, quickly wraps up Mortensen, drops him for the loss. And he is probably their best pass rusher on that defensive line.
Quite a struggle. Rogers, 74 for Denver at 6'4", 265, and Raines at 6'6" and 285. That's a couple of big guys banging each other around, and Raines won that little battle. Third down and 16 now for Mortensen. Sends Sidney in motion, back to throw, dumps it behind the line, complete to Canada. He's hit behind the line, struggles back to the line of scrimmage, the 16-yard line, and he was brought down by Herb Spencer. It'll be fourth down, and the Denver Gold, unable to move it, will be in a kicking situation. And dropping back will be Steve Gortz, number 4 punter in the United States Football League. He's averaging 40 yards on 58 punts and has had a 59-yarder as his recorded longest of the season. This thin, mile-high air certainly doesn't hurt a punter. Frederick is awaiting the football, standing at the Birmingham 45-yard line. Gortz gets it away, and a fair catch signaled for by Frederick at the 45-yard line. Birmingham will take over, leading 7-0 and in excellent field position. Number 86 is Jim Smith, out of Michigan by way of the Pittsburgh Steelers to Birmingham. He caught a 15-yard touchdown toss, and he certainly in 6 games has had a magnificent career so far for Birmingham. Now we put him into a little comparison with all of the fine receivers in the United States Football League, bearing in mind that the others have played 12 games. Smith has played only 6. You can see that how he compares so favorably, Don Heinrich. 4.6 catches per game, 72 yards in average per game, and he's got his 2nd touchdown catch tonight. And we thought we'd kind of highlight Jim Smith for you, show you how he's doing since he came over to the United States Football League. And of course the obvious answer is very well, thank you. That's Johnson in motion for Birmingham. Lane with a play action fake, quick look to his tight end Mason at the 40 down to the 35-yard line. Oh, what a nice play, Don Heinrich.
It really was. A little play action out of the double wing. They sent some motion out to the right side to get the defense to move a little bit. All it was Mason releasing outside of Kelvin Newton, the linebacker, to that side, getting into the open area of the zone. They were going into the conventional zone, so Lane executing well, dropped it into him. Lane playing with a bad knee tonight, as is Darrell Mason. There was some question that they would be available, that they sure look healthy.
19 yards on that pickup down to the 36-yard line, and Birmingham leading 7-0 on the march again. There's Talton into the middle of the line, and this time he is hit and stopped. Coming up to make the tackle initially was Gherkin, number 50, in there at the bottom of the pile. And you can see him straightening the face mask and unpiling himself. Also in there, big Lavelle Short out of Colorado, 92. Number 59 is Kyle Whittingham, and Gherkin He's got 107 tackles. He's been a very instrumental man in what has been a very fine defensive unit for this Denver Gold team, but they've been shocked already tonight. They're down 7-0, and Birmingham now with a 2nd and 8 at the Denver 34-yard line. Lane with the play action. Has a lot of time. He's going long downfield for Smith. Threw it too far, way too far. On defense, Maurice Tyler, and he was double-teamed, and Miller was there as well. Well, I tell you, Smith's the kind of a guy that needs a lot of attention. Don Heinrich?
Yes, he is. He gets down there in a hurry. Maurice Tyler starting at the free safety in place of the injured Tom Sullivan, who dislocated his wrist last week versus Los Angeles. Actually, the ball overthrown by Lane, and that's where Lane plays it smart frequently. He doesn't give them anything easy. He doesn't put it into crowds too often. His interception rate is low. That time he knew that Smith wasn't there. He just laid it up over the top, but going to work on Tyler, who's new at that spot.
That 46% third down conversion rate really tells a lot about the success of this Birmingham ball club. Smith in motion, 3rd and 8, Lane to throw. He's going long downfield and throws it away, off the field of play. Frederick was the intended receiver, and David Martin was back on defense, and now the Denver Gold fans, who have been waiting for something to cheer about, let loose with a roar of approval as the defense stymies this talented Birmingham ball club. Now we've got Bollinger coming on. He'll be out to punt it for the first time this evening, averaging just under 40 yards of wallop. That puts him in the number 6 spot as far as punters go. And there's David Martin, who's the number 2 punt returner in the United States Football League. But I don't know if Martin will get a chance at this. Methinks Don Heinrich Bollinger will be trying to angle this baby out of bounds inside the 10 somewhere.
Either the sidelines or go for the little soft squib kick away.
He has plenty of time. He's angling it across the way. May have hit it too good. He did. It skips into the end zone, and for the Denver Gold, they'll bring it back out to the 20. Denver will take over 1st and 10 on the 20. Birmingham leads 7-0. A look at the Central Division standings highlights the importance of that Michigan-Tampa Bay game of Monday night. And, of course, Birmingham, very important that they come up with a win tonight. Chicago's playing Monday night against the Arizona Wranglers, and what a competitive division that Central is, and it really is up for grabs. Tampa Bay, very important date at Michigan, and Chicago can't really look past Arizona. They're liable to find themselves all jammed up there back of the Bandits. What a battle that is. And of course you can't forget Boston out in the Atlantic Division either. They're very much in the line for a playoff spot. Going to be an exciting finish as the USFL rolls into its final 6 games. All right, Denver now 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Coming in motion now is James. Morton hands off, and hitting up the middle is Sidney, and he's out to about the 26-yard line. Sidney is the number 6 running back in the United States Football League. McPherson made the stop.
Offensive guard 65, Glenn Hyde, pulling around at that point around the center to step up. Buries the linebacker on his side. Hyde playing with a bad ankle. He missed a week ago. He told Morton he would be ready to play today. They played together at Denver at one point. He said, "Coach, I will start tomorrow." So he's playing under a little bit of a handicap, but he was very effective right there.
Canada's the lone setback as Sidney is sent wide to the left side now. Mortensen, the quarterback, at his own 26-yard line. Birmingham had that 84-yard drive to go on top 7-zip. Canada, looking for running room, has some, squirms up the middle, finally brought down by Herb Spencer, and he's got enough for the first down as he crosses the 30, and a flag goes down, and there's a little pushing and shoving match going on. Now the two are surrounded by a lot of other people. Sidney was one of the two involved, and a defensive back. And a flag came down, and we're going to see about it. Now going to be a personal foul call against Denver. Oh my, that'll negate the first down run. Unless it's called a dead ball foul. Craig Morton upset about it, obviously.
Well, that hurt. They're having problems, you know, the first series to get something generated. Again, Glenn Hyde, pulling from his left guard spot, came around, picked off the nose tackle, Jimmy Walker, and did a good job of logging him back to his left side to open that hole, but it looks like they're going to get caught on that little fracas that took place down there.
Well, we'll await the official call by our referee to see whether or not Dave Kamansky will give us the word it was a dead ball situation. Going to be called against the offense. His microphone, I think he turned it on. He gave indication he did. We did not see it. It's going to be a Now they're calling it second down from the referee's mic, we're told now, is inoperative for the evening, so we're going to trust us when I tell you we're not talking over him as you look at him and watch his lips move.
Craig Morton was a little bit disturbed as he was talking with one of the officials on the sideline. You noticed in the attack of Craig Morton, he came out early. They ran the sprint out and went deep to drive him off. He came back just with a conventional play. Then he went with like a little quick screen out there. This time he went more to the running game as they ran up the middle with some success, and now set back because of the penalty.
It's really a strange marking on this, too. It's back at the 18. It's called 2nd and 12. Original line of scrimmage was the 26. The carry was out to the 33. They walked off a personal foul up the middle. The pass intended for James, batted away by Frank Reed. Also on the coverage over there was Emil Thompson, who's really become one of the standout corners in the United States Football League. He's really had a hand in that stout Birmingham defense as this season has progressed. At any rate, to get back to that call, personal foul against Denver. Remember, it was a first down at the 20, a second down at the 26, and then Canada carried out to the 33. Then they walked off a penalty to the 18 and made it second down and 12. So now it is third down and 12. Denver at the 18-yard line. I guess what I'm saying is it was not a dead ball violation, or it would have been first down as they walked it back. Mortensen has the back split. 7-0 Birmingham. Sidney on the sweep. Comes inside up to the 25-yard line. A 7-yard pickup, but it's short. And a fight breaking out upfield, and now players are hammering at each other. Flags go down. Involved in this one was Vic James. Everybody getting a hand in it now.
Emotions running a little bit high as Craig Morton is out in the middle of it. He knows better than that, particularly to run out there without a headgear. That's the first thing you grab. Craig, a real gentleman, though. He doesn't want his players overreacting. He does want them fired up. They are tonight. And these are two competitive clubs as Raleigh Dotch is pulling some of his players to the side. And the fans kind of like it. They're seeing some real excitement out of their club, and now they're giving them a round of applause.
Well, I'll tell you what they're cheering about, Don, is the fact that they're going to lay a penalty on Birmingham. I believe they're going to lay a penalty on Birmingham.
That would give Birmingham another chance to play some defense. I believe it would give a first down to Denver, but the fans are enthusiastic. They want to see some emotion out of their club, and of course they get it in the way of a first down via the penalty.
They called the penalty on Birmingham's Michael Thomas. He's a first-year pro out of Tennessee. He and James were just toe-to-toe, face mask to face mask, and going at each other, and it ended up with Thomas getting the rap. All right, Denver needs one more player on the field, and running out now, number 80 is Durden, who was with Birmingham early in the season, and now is with the Denver Gold, and Craig Morton.
Well, Craig wanted some enthusiasm and emotion. They're getting it.
7-0 Birmingham. Denver at its own 40-yard line now. Best field position of the night for the Denver Gold. We've got 5:11 remaining, first period. Mortensen to throw, flag downfield, pass complete to Canada, dropped at the 35-yard line. Going to be a loss of 5 and a flag all the way back down at the Birmingham 30-yard line.
Well, you know, one thing, at that time, Denver chose to go upfield with the pass play, and then Mortensen came off to the back, but not a bad time to call a trap or a quick draw or a draw trap, because emotions are high and they get people coming hard. You're liable to split them.
Denver had trouble getting number 80, or at least one other player. It turned out to be Durden on the field, and as a result, that 30-second clock ran out on him, Don Heinrich, and that was the delay of game call. So the ball is at the 35. It is still first down. First and 15. Durden flanked wide to the left side. To the right side is Johnson, rookie out of Colorado. Canada and Sidney in the backfield. Mortensen gives the ball to Canada, finds a small opening, and bulls his way to the 41-yard line. Billy Caesar is there, number 44.
Well, Craig crossed him up. Birmingham came in with their 5 defensive backs, anticipating the pass. they went with the draw play to Canada, and he picked up about 6 yards. So oftentimes it is better to get it back a little at a time rather than get greedy and try and go upfield, as Craig Morton, arms folded, looks on, sends in the play, and hopes for the best execution.
7-0, Raleigh Dutch, his ball club leading. Denver with the ball on the goal 41. James is set wide to the right. Mortensen, the quarterback, with a 2nd and 9 at his own 41-yard line. Too high over the middle for his tight end, Mizalak. Caesar knocked him down, and with everybody who gets knocked down in that secondary now, this Denver Gold crowd is going to want a flag on the play.
Well, I think they also felt that Mortensen got hit maybe just a little bit late. Jimmy Walker and Drew Taylor being the 4th down lineman for pass rush purposes, had a lot of pressure on. They had a little stunt going between them where they crossed, each of them coming around. They got to Mortensen just as he threw the football, forced him to throw quickly, and that's the main reason he threw the ball poorly.
Johnson is in, flanked wide to this our side of the field. 3rd down and 9 for Denver on the goal 41-yard line. 7-0 Birmingham, 4:17 remaining, first period. Mortensen to throw. Steps up, gets bumped, and is going to be dropped back at the 35. Jackie Klein, big rookie out of Alabama, 6'5", 274. Had a big hand in all of the festivities, and Raines was there as well. And the ball will be back at the 35-yard line, a 4th down and 15 situation. And Denver, though they did a bit better this time with that possession, finds Gortz back in for a 2nd punt of the night. Frederick is awaiting the ball at the 23-yard line. Gortz had a 39-yarder the first time. Denver's offense has produced 13 yards so far in the game, and Birmingham has come up with 106. Of course, they had 84 on that touchdown drive. Gortz hits a beauty. Frederick, fair catch at the 16-yard line. And boy, downfield, Sidney raced right by him. Birmingham will have the ball on their own 17 when play resumes. Don't miss College Baseball's World Series live on ESPN starting Friday, June 3rd. University of Miami is the defending champions, and what a great collection of 8 of the very best of the nation's college baseball teams to go at each other at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha, and ESPN will be there. Join us now, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, June the 3rd, 3 o'clock Pacific Time. And Bobby Lane walks to the line of scrimmage now at his own 17. He's leading 7-0. Hand off to White. Outside at the 20. Back inside and carries to about the 27. Nice run by Billy White.
Lane from the back of the end zone. You see Adelette pulling and trapping around. They open the big hole. Get good blocking from Battaglia, the right guard. Pat Phoenix, number 71, the right tackle as they collapse it. There's Phoenix, 71, doing a good job on Larry White to drive him down the line. And then, of course, with Adelette leading it, they make a nice gain. 2nd and a yard to go. Birmingham on their own 26. Slipping and falling and rolling upfield. Getting the first down, I believe. It'll be out to about the 28-yard line is Talton. Talton looked, not Talton, check that, it's Quarles. It looked as though he fell as he got the handoff. He still had presence of mind to carry the ball forward. Gherkin and Short were there to make the stop. He's over the 28 and very close to the 29, which means he's close to the, and he has by about the length of the football, picked up a first down. 1st and 10 Birmingham on their own 29. Actually, Quarles, the leading rusher in terms of yardage per attempt at 4.8, as shown by the graphic. White and Talton are the setbacks now. Talton hit behind the line and then finally dropped at the 30. Short put the finishing tackle on him, but he was hit by Larry White behind the line of scrimmage. Craig Morton pacing the sidelines. Thanks, Craig. Now you're useful. You got it? USFL. Now you're useful. Oh, what a clever play on words. But the fans love it. They're in Craig's corner, and they like what they've seen, but they want a little more action, a little more scoring. 2nd and 9, Birmingham. And they're all up there. 10 men on the line. At the Birmingham 30. Lane back to throw with a lot of time. Over the middle, wide open. Anderson spun down finally at the Denver 31-yard line. Martin made the stop,
And Greg Anderson, who had 18 catches coming into the ball game, 2 of which had gone for touchdowns, wide open in the middle. Fine run after he got it. It's down to the 31-yard line. 39 yards on the pass and run.
And a good job by Anderson. As can be seen, he leads this club in yards per catch at 16.4. That time he picked off a big gain, and that's where Lane's so effective, not only with his athletic ability, but he reads the defense. He saw the blitz, he automatic, he knew he had man-for-man coverage, came off, big gain to Anderson.
Frederick to the left and Smith to the right. And Lane at the Denver 31-yard line, leading 7-0. Play action, back to throw, going long downfield for Frederick in the end zone. He bumping there along with Tyler. No harm, no foul, says the man in the striped shirt. The pass is incomplete, and it'll be back to 2nd and 10 at the Denver 31. Lane's hit 4 of 7 now, 86 yards, and he has that touchdown toss of 15 yards that opened up that Birmingham drive, the flip going to Smith for the score.
You know, defensive clubs play tendencies of what the offense does. If they like to run on first down, what they like to run, do they choose to throw? Raleigh Dodge frequently changing up. This time going with the pass deep, drop back out of the first down situation.
2nd and 10, Anderson to the left, the handoff to Johnson, hit behind the line and now dropped for the loss at the 35. In there first was big Calvin Turner, number 99. Turner spun him around, and then the rest of the Denver Gold was there to make the stop.
And the guy that really got pressure on is the linebacker, the left linebacker to that side, Kelvin Newton, as the handoff from Lane. You'll see Newton to the right side of your picture, pile it up right there. Good adjustment, good balance on it. But then the pursuit gets him as Larry White closes in a hurry. But give credit to Newton. Newton getting his first start, came off of their taxi squad development unit. He was put in because they traded John Barfield, their regular starter at that side.
Frederick to the right. To the left is Anderson. Smith is set in the slot on the right. Frederick coming in motion. And Lane is back to throw. 3rd and 13. Pass is complete. Caught by Frederick inside the 25. Hit and knocked off his pins by Blount. It is short of the first down, but a fine catch by Frederick, who was kind of running crab-like fashion and backing up, backpedaling, and still made the grab.
And a
the
good
officials
throw.
mark it at the 24. Gain of 10. It'll be 4th and 3. And we've come to the end of the first period. Birmingham leads 7-0. We'll be back after this. It'll be Norwood to try to get 3 for Birmingham as they're faced with a 4th and 3 situation. It'll be about a 42-yarder, well within his range. He's longest of the year is 48 yards. He is 16 of 22, and between the 40 and the 49 area, or that range, he's kicked 3 of 8. Holding will be Bobby Lane. It'll be a 41-yard effort. Line is set. High snap. Norwood's got plenty of foot into it. No good. Wide to the right. So Norwood kicks it far enough, but wide to the right. So it'll be Denver's defense holding, and the offense takes over after this. Denver's offense, which has been able to generate only 19 yards in that first period, takes over on their own 24. At halftime, a special guest, Ron Blanding, who is the owner of the Denver Gold, will come in and visit with us. He has been right in the eye of all the controversy surrounding his franchise here, what with the firing of Red Miller. We're going to talk to Ron Blanding, who has proved to be a very congenial and cooperative owner. In fact, he's anxious to come on with us at halftime. We look forward to it, so stay tuned. All right, quarterback is Mortensen now. That's James in motion. Mortensen is back to throw, troubled, dumps it behind the line, tried to get it to Canada, and I think, though I can't be sure, I think Dallas Hickman might have got a part of that ball, Don Heinrich.
It looked like he did get a little piece of it. It was almost a near disaster on the part of Mortensen. Practically a backward pass, almost a lateral, and Canada kind of let the ball go. Of course, he had a better angle than we do at this particular vantage point, but that's one thing that you never want to let a ball that's coming out to the flat that way or in a parallel position from the quarterback roll around in that grass, because an alert defensive man's going to jump on it. You never know when it's going to go against you.
Indeed you don't. Wide to the left side is Johnny Durden. He played for Birmingham, remember? Durden is flanked wide to the left. Mortensen, the quarterback now. Vince White, number 44, is in the backfield. That's James in motion. Now going in motion, Canada, and it's going to be illegal procedure. Too many men moving, and with the ball carrying it upfield was White, but it'll go for naught. Canada was going in motion toward the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be an illegal procedure call, and the Denver Gold will have to bring it back.
Well, Canada played up in Canada at one stage in his career. He might have felt that you could use that forward motion that you get out of Canada. He was a fine player for Denver. Did a great job for him while he was there. Kind of a journeyman pound-out type of a back. One time, as a short yardage guy for the Broncos, he scored 4 touchdowns in 4 carries over a 4-week period. So he touched the ball 4 times, scored 4 times.
It's going to be a 2nd down and 15. The ball back at the 19-yard line. You can see that Denver's been assessed 33 yards. First downs, Denver's had but 1, and that came via the penalty. Sidney, along with Durden, flanked wide to the left now. Mortensen, the quarterback, at his own 19-yard line. Trailing 7-0. We're just into the 2nd period. Sidney in motion. The delay, the handoff to Canada. He's got some running room. That's a good call and a fine run by the veteran Larry Canada, though he is just about a yard short of a first down. Grand Jean made the stop out of the Birmingham secondary.
Well, again, Morton crossing him up just a little bit as they go with the draw. Walker, 75, left tackle. He gets taken by it. He's going pass rush as he's chasing Canada on the play. He knows that he got suckered on the draw fake, and that's what the offensive guard wants to do, is invite him upfield, let him take himself out of it. It worked very well for a nice gain.
Not quite a yard remaining. It is 3rd and that for a first down for Denver as Mortensen looks over the Birmingham defensive set. And boy, it certainly shows rush, doesn't it? I mean, defense against it. They've got everybody up on the line of scrimmage. An 8-man front. The give to Sidney going outside. He's going to turn the corner, and he's got some speed. But I'll tell you, with some speed, over there to knock him down was Billy Caesar, who made perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle.
Well, the guilty party on the force to that side, Fred Mortensen handing off as they go to the right. Everybody's collapsing down on the 6-1. Frank Reed, the safety, gets hooked to the inside, commits a cardinal sin. You want to contain him to the inside. You got the 6-1 defense where they're bunching everything up. All you've got to do is force them back. Caesar, the free safety, very quickly came across, and as you described, saved an even bigger gain.
First down for Denver. The ball is at the Denver 40-yard line. 7-0, Birmingham leading. We're just into the 2nd period of play here. A beautiful night in the Mile High City. Flags down, and again we're going to have an illegal procedure call against the Denver Gold. And it'll penalize them 5 yards, at least from the initial appearance. Craig Morton obviously feeling some frustration. Of course, a man who toiled for 18 years as a quarterback in the National Football League knows of the ups and downs of this game.
Well, it is frustrating that you're making mistakes with the snap count and people jumping off. I mean, it's a tough enough game at best to try and block people for the running game or to complete passes. But when you get mental errors normally, just for the sake of not sitting in there and listening for that quarterback's count.
It is 1st and 15, Denver. The ball is at the 35-yard line. Kind of a full house backfield, and now going in motion is Johnson. The pitch is back to Sidney, looking for room inside, then outside, and driven to the turf. Boy, he was grabbed by Spencer, and coming over to help out very, very quickly was McPherson. 2 very, very active linebackers. They work in tandem quite well, outside and inside on the left side, and they are really a pair to draw to. Little or no gain. In fact, it'll be 2nd and 15 at the 35.
Well, Herb Spencer had 15 tackles a week ago, or Monday night, against Michigan, and he's taken up right where he left off. He's been playing for about the last month with a small bone broken in his right foot, but he's a competitor, and you can see how active he is. As you mentioned, Tom, that he shed the block of Nizolik and then, of course, made the play.
Durden is flanked wide to the left side. It is 2nd and 15, Denver on their own 35-yard line. That's Johnson going in motion. Play action fake. Out in the handoff, and with it is Vincent White. He's in the secondary, drops the football. Denver may have recovered as scrambling for the ball downfield. It appeared to be Johnson who recovered the fumble by White. First down, Denver.
Well, good blocking off the right side, pulling Glenn Hyde, who's their #1 blocker, 65. Turns upfield, misses Spencer at that point, but some excellent running by White, except forgot a little something there. He dropped the ball, but Denver, who has not had a great deal of luck, They've had 16 turnovers, 25 interceptions, and 11 fumbles. That was their 12th. So they've lost a lot of those along the way. That time they got lucky and recovered.
1st and 10, Denver, their best field position. They're at the Birmingham 49. Vincent White at the tailback of the I. And it's White again. And he spurts into the secondary and is ridden down, grabbed by Freddie Smith out of Auburn, linebacker. White is an electrifying type runner. He was a brilliant football player at Stanford, was very high in the National Football League draft list, and is the newest player signed by Denver owner Ron Blanding. Carried that one to the 42 for a pickup of 7, 2nd and 3.
Well, I saw him play any number of times there at Stanford, living out in the Bay Area, and he has that excellent quickness. He has the ability to accelerate. He doesn't need a whole lot of daylight. The right side of the offensive line doing a good job, and he took it.
And of course, he's a Colorado High School product, Mullen High School. So he's come back home. Straight ahead, Canada gets to the 40 and close to the first down. He's got to get inside and very near the 39, but he's going to be shy of that. Mark it at the 40, 3rd and a yard to go. McPherson made the stop.
Well, Larry Canada sitting there in a single back. Gets a good block again, left guard, Hyde on the trap. Canada with the good strength gets a nice hit by the linebacker to that side, but comes up just a little bit short. Glenn Hyde, I might add, he's played every spot along that offensive line, so there isn't anything new to him, but he favors that offensive left guard position.
Bo Matthews, number 41, veteran blocking back out of Colorado. He's set as a wing back on the right side, is in there now for blocking purposes. Here's Canada, first down, then some, still on his feet, inside the 30 to the 35 to about the 32-yard line. Caesar makes the tackle, along with McPherson.
Once again, a key block by Glenn Hyde, left guard, moving out, cutting off the linebacker, Freddie Smith to that side. The rest of the offensive line, there you see Hyde driving him back, staying after him. He's going to find somebody to hit, and then Hyde, Canada, the heavy-duty back, pounds up in there and puts a little hurt on those defensive backs.
7 yards more for Larry. And he now has a first down for Denver at the Birmingham 33. 9:14 remaining, first half. Birmingham leads 7-0 in the Gold with their best march of the afternoon or evening. Here's Bo Matthews. Bo's at the 30, at the 25. Well, I tell you, it's good to see an old friend play with that frisky attitude. Bo Matthews, who's had some years on him and some NFL experience with San Diego, and now gets another chance here with the Denver Gold, and used primarily as a blocking back. Bo's a delightful guy, and he really picks him up and lays him down.
Again, the left side, Hyde, 65, doing a good job of hitting and turning in that instance. Does a fine job. The left tackle, Steve Rogers, doing a good job. And then Bo Matthews, that's not a new play to him as he starts keying the left tackle's block, then dipped it to the outside, found the crack, and of course took it down in there. Billy Caesar using the block tackle, which normally is not a good thing to do, but he had the sidelines there to give him a little help, and it is a first down.
Any part of the ball, and that's where it was, and that's Bo saying that's it, first down. Craig Morton walks the sidelines now, and I might add with renewed interest in this game. His ball club suddenly putting a drive together. They started at their own 24 after a field goal of 41 by Norwood was long enough but wide. 7-0 Birmingham, and the Gold making a move. They're down to the 23-yard line. It's a 1st and 10. Deepest penetration for Mortensen and company. Durden is flanked wide to the left in the slot. James is set outside. Back to throw. Mortensen has some time. Over the middle. Pass is complete. James down to the 5 and down to the 4-yard line. Brought down by McPherson. And this Denver ball club suddenly begins to sparkle a little bit, Don Heinrich.
Well, yes, it is. And they set that play up, having run that weak side slant to the slot side. They had 2 wide receivers to that side. They've run 3 or 4 slants over there off the tackle. They make the fake to Canada, which Mortensen did well. And then Vic James coming underneath on a post type of a move, a shallow post. And once he caught that ball, he had a little bit of running room. I'll tell you, he can accelerate. He showed some speed.
Again, we've got Matthews, number 41, set right off the tight end. You see him there as a blocking back. Sidney and Canada are the setbacks. Mortensen, the quarterback. 1st and goal at the 5. Sidney hit behind the line and going to be dropped for a loss. Oh, what a fine play. Coming in there, Jackie Klein, giant of a man, 6'5" and 274, played for the Bear at Alabama.
Well, Jackie Klein has had some injuries, and a ground level look at it. The handoff to Sidney, but Klein getting immediate penetration. He took the inside gap, which you could not see on the screen, but he beat Doug Hoppick, the tackle, to his side, hit that gap, got into that secondary, and made a big play as he dropped him for a loss. And that's something he does extremely well. He's not maybe quite as active as you would like for a defensive end, as agile and as quick, but he never stops coming. He's a hard worker, and you know, there's always a place for a football player that gives that kind of effort and just keeps coming, and that's what Klein did there, and it paid off. 2nd and goal, back at the 10 now. Mortensen has got Durden left and James to the right. His backs are split. At the Birmingham 10, Mortensen lobs it in the end zone. Incomplete. Durden was trying to get around the pressure defense of Thomas, and he couldn't get away from Thomas. Finally, stopped and cut back inside, but couldn't catch up to the ball. Well, Birmingham, that blitzes a high percentage of the time, brought a lot of people, and a good job by Mortensen of reading the defense. The part that hurt him most, and he was extremely unhappy, as was Durden. Durden slapping his head. They went to go with a little fade. Mortensen tried to lay it a little to the inside when he saw the coverage on the outside. Just a little misunderstanding of anticipating what each of them was going to do. They could have had an easy touch. Canada and Sydney now. The backs are split. We're talking 3rd and 10. 3rd and goal at the 10. Pass complete to the tight end, Niziolek. He's inside the 5 and is out of bounds. Again, great defense, this time by Frank Reed, that kept the big tight end who played his college ball at Colorado out of the end zone. Well, the previous play on the blitz, Niziolek stayed in. This time you see him releasing to the inside of Herb Spencer, who is blitzing. The safety to that side, Frank Reed, a little slow to cover him as he runs the quick out pattern or slant type of a move. So where the time before he stayed in on the blitz to help block, this time he releases, picks up a nice gain, and of course with 3rd to about 3, pay dirt ahead. 3rd and goal, and Birmingham digs in on defense. They lead 7-0. Best drive of the evening for the Denver Gold. Mortensen has the backs in close, rolling, keeps it, scampers, in the end zone, touchdown. Well, I've got to tell you one thing, Tom Kelly. Craig Morton, I don't think, when he sent that play into Mortensen, would not have run that himself. The option as he comes down the line, reading the linebacker and the safety, if they don't come up on him, he's going to turn it upfield. He does, as Larry McPherson, the linebacker, makes the tackle at the goal line, but a shade late. You don't see that option too often, but very effective in the goal line area. 76-yard drive by the Denver Gold, and now we'll try the extra point. It's down. Spielman hits it. It's up, and it's good. So with 7:07 remaining in the first half, the game is tied. Birmingham and Denver 7-7. Never seen an Arizona State quarterback who couldn't run with the ball. Maybe Mortensen doesn't do it as good as some of them have, but take a look at him. It's a big 6. Well, he knows what to do coming down the line. Walker misses him. He outruns him. The moment he sees that daylight, he wasn't going to kid around. He took it upfield, and that's Mortensen's first touchdown rushing for this Denver Gold club to tie that score at 7-7. That's his first touchdown period, you know. He only had 18 tosses coming into this game. He has been very, very inactive as the quarterback for this Denver ball club. Of course, Johnson is the number 1, and he's injured. Naffel was the backup. He's been traded away. And now Mortensen getting a chance to start, and he really is brand new out there. There's Spielman getting set to kick off now for the Denver Gold. They're all tied at 7, and we've got Kincaid awaiting the ball at the 5-yard. An onside kick, and it squirts out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Nobody, it went the required 10 yards, but nobody in a Denver Gold uniform touched it. Had they gotten a hand on it, they would have been the last to touch it, and it would have been theirs. So an interesting ploy by Craig Morton, but I think the ball's going to go to Birmingham. Let's wait and see. The fans wanted some excitement. They're getting it, and as you described it, it would have been Denver's ball. Actually, the covered people on that left side that were going down were so enthusiastic and anxious, they overran it. Let me bring up another point now, Don Heinrich.
This ball was not touched by anybody. Is it not an illegal procedure and a 5-yard penalty and kick it over?
As the ball rolls to the left, it just kind of squirts out of bounds, out of reach, unfortunately.
I think they're going to kick it over again, Coach.
It does look like it's going to go over, and we get another angle look at it as he hooks it to that side. And, you know, the first people down, normally they're looking for someone to block. It barely got 10 yards. Actually, it got 11 yards, but it had so much English on it that it was moving too quickly.
It is illegal procedure, Don. They're going back to the 30, and Denver will have to kick it over again.
Well, that'll keep the kickoff return team a little bit honest. They'll not be too quick to get back there and set up that wedge or to try to set up a left or right return.
It does give Birmingham something to think about. The opening play by Denver, Morton aired it out. He had Mortensen going deep for all the yardage, and now he's got an onside kick after getting the game tied. So Craig Morton is debuting with some bag of tricks in the end zone. Kincaid will touch it down. It'll come out to the 20.
Little enthusiasm by the crowd. They like that onside kick attempt, then turn around and kick it all the way into the end zone about a yard or two deep that they couldn't even bring it back out. The scoring drive, 13 plays, 76 yards, long time, 7 minutes and 49 seconds, climaxed with the 3-yard option play by Mortensen.
We've got 6:57 remaining in the first half, and the game is tied at 7. As Birmingham takes over now, Lane at quarterback on his own 20-yard line. Handoff to Talton, breaks into the secondary and over the 25, out close to the 27-yard line. Bottom of the pile, coming up from his linebacker spot was Newton to get a hand in the tackle. Mark it at the 26. It'll be 2nd and 4 at the 26. At halftime, Ron Blanding, who's the owner of the Denver Gold, will be our special live guest. We'll be talking with Mr. Blanding about all the hubbub and controversy that surrounded the firing of Denver coach Red Miller. Again, Talton, this time first down yardage over the 30 to about the 31, and Gherkin is there to make the stop.
Well, you know, Raleigh Dodge has gone back to what they did in that opening drive, and what they do best really is run that football. He was concerned they might get a little flat. Sometimes that'll happen to you. They moved down the field relatively easy in the opening drive to go on top 7-0. They missed a relatively short field goal that hurt them there in another drive. So now he said, wait a minute, I got to get that momentum back. This score is tied. We're going to have to go after them.
7 carries, 42 yards unofficially for Talton, and Birmingham has a great first down statistic as they average almost 6 yards a carry. And now Ken Talton again.
Oh, and a good job by Buddy Adelette, the left guard, as he's going to pull around. I don't know if we can get him into the picture on it. Good block up front of it. There's Adelette sealing it off, making a nice play at that point. You know, his wife Becky had a baby on Thursday, a 7.2-ounce baby girl named Miss Mary Lindsay. So congratulations to Becky and certainly Buddy Adelette.
I told you almost 6 yards a carry on first down situations for Birmingham, and that's exactly what Talton got. 2nd and 4. Here's Johnson. Breaks into the secondary at midfield, into Denver territory at the 48-yard line. And David Martin got just enough of running back Lonnie Johnson to keep him from scampering for a big one to the end zone.
And they open a big hole between Tom Banks and Buddy Adelette on the left side. The right side of your picture there, they get the trap coming across from Mark Battaglia. They seal off the inside, a gigantic hole for Johnson to bring it upfield. A nice cut back there, but just enough of a tackle to drop him.
15 yards on that pickup, and Birmingham on the move again. They started on their own 20. They're at the Denver 48. Lane off the play action, going down the far sidelines. It's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Miller. Miller takes it away from the intended receiver across the way, and that's Anderson. And Denver's defense sets this crowd on its feet. Denver will have the ball. 4:22 left in the half. Game tied at 7. Well, it was Miller's first interception, the team's 11th, and it couldn't have come at a better time, Don Heinrich.
Well, it sure couldn't, and a play that they've been setting up with the long trap. Banks and Adelette blocking down. That was Battaglia pulling across. Looked like the trap. Then they wanted to go deep to Anderson, but Nate Miller playing it perfectly, or Dave Martin playing it perfectly over there. The ball a little short by Lane, and that's where you get hurt, throwing short. That's his 10th interception of the year, and it hurt him. Good defensive play.
All right, so after Miller's interception, Denver takes over on its own 21, 1st and 10. Mortensen, the quarterback, had a 76-yard drive climaxed by a 3-yard touchdown run of his own a few moments ago. That's Sidney looking for running room. Good move inside, but he could not get away from the very tough Emmanuel Thompson, who took the fake inside, stayed right with Sidney, and dropped him right at the 20. No gain at all. Call it 2nd and 10 at the 21. And Denver with 4:04 remaining on the halftime clock with the ball deep at their end of the field as Craig Morton looks on.
And the tackle by Emmanuel Thompson was absolutely perfect. Harry Sidney was trying to give him a few moves out there and juke him to the inside, but he just zeroed in on that belt buckle, stayed right with him, because that's not going to move regardless of his legs or his head or his shoulders, and dropped him.
Durden is flanked to the left and Johnson is set to the right. Mortensen, the quarterback. Birmingham showing a 7-man front there as the linebackers jump up in the slots. Back to throw. Mortensen gets hit, staggers, going to be grabbed and downed. The referee, Kamansky, blowing him dead. Don't hit him, he's dead. Back at around the 15-yard line. Walker was in there very, very quickly.
As was Jackie Klein from his defensive end spot. It's given
3rd and 16 now, and the Denver Gold having some trouble getting on track now. Matheny comes in, new addition to the club. Coming in also, number 81, James Johnson comes out. Birmingham's got 3 sacks in the ball game tonight. That big guy right there, Jackie Klein. Awesome, that defensive line.
That gives him 6.5 sacks for the season. He's just going for penetration, a power rush on Doug Hoppick, the right tackle.
Bo Matthews, the lone setback, obviously for blocking purposes. Mortensen's got Sidney in motion. He's going to go to the air. Gets a rush. Downfield, almost intercepted. Billy Caesar had a very good shot at it, and Billy did his utmost to make the interception, but the ball was behind him. He stopped, did a wheel around, and slipped to the turf, couldn't grab the football.
And the reason it was behind him was because Drew Taylor at one tackle and Jimmy Walker at the other, their 2 inside tackles in the rush with their 4-man line, really had the pressure on Mortensen and just drilled him as he threw the football. He just let it go. He never saw where it went.
So it'll be Frederick back now, awaiting the punt by Gortz, who's standing at his own goal line. Frederick is number 5 in the United States Football League in kick returns. He's very gifted. He's a fine athlete. Gortz hits a beauty down the far side, end over end, bounces at the 49, high in the air, and then goes down at the 47 of Birmingham. So Birmingham will take over. 2:45 to go in the half. We're tied at 7-7. Well, the oldest sport in America, lacrosse, and 2 of the very best college teams ever to play it, Johns Hopkins and Syracuse, perennially among the very best in the country. And lacrosse, no game for the faint of heart, let me tell you. I guess the Indians were playing that long before Columbus discovered the country. That is kind of a wild and woolly get-together.
It takes some pretty stout hearts to get out there.
Some tough people.
Take that kind of a beating.
Smith is flanked wide to the right side. Anderson and Frederick are set to the left. And Talton is the lone setback now in this Birmingham alignment. They start on their own 47. Smith goes in motion. Lane hands off to Talton, and he is hit after a gain of a couple. In there very quickly was Turner, but the guy that responsible for the tackle was Kyle Whittingham.
Calvin Turner fell off very quickly from his defensive right end side. Phoenix working the right tackle 71, but he doesn't really get him upfield. He tried to finesse him and use sort of a pass set to get him upfield and turn him outside. Turner was going to have none of it. He was taking an inside move and fell right into the play.
Billy White now, one of the setbacks, is back to throw his Lane, has a lot of time, downfield, complete. Caught and dropped at the 31-yard line, Anderson. Great reception on defense, Nate Miller. Had an interception a moment ago to stop a Birmingham drive. And now the Stallions with a big first down at the 31. We've come to the 2-minute warning here. 2 minutes remain in the first half. We're tied 7-7. The Denver Gold is the best looked at franchise in the United States Football League, and there's part of the crowd that we think will be around 40,000 or thereabouts tonight. At halftime, Ford features the big plays. Tom Mees will recap all of the action, the big plays from last week's USFL action. And, of course, that includes Monday night. You may get a look at a rather controversial call in the end zone in that Birmingham-Michigan game. 1st and 10 at the 31. The give is to White. Hit behind the line. Going to be stopped. He was nailed first by Gherkin. As he broke away, Gherkin got some help. As the Denver Gold defensive unit rushed to complement Gherkin's fine initial charge. Back at the 34, it'll be 2nd and 13.
Well, Jimmy Carr, the defensive coordinator and longtime veteran coach, calls the defensive signals. I'm sure he was anticipating that play-action pass on 1st down. He had Gherkin blitzing. Gherkin got penetration before they ever had a chance to get the play started. He guessed right, dropped him for about a 2.5-yard loss.
Gherkin is a Regis High School product here in Colorado.
107 tackles.
Back to throw his lane. Sets deep over the middle. Caught by his tight end, Mason. Oh, and is he a handful to bring down. He attracted most every black shirt in that area, but he's inside the 30 at about the 29. A pickup of 5. 3rd down and 8 or thereabouts at the 29, and Birmingham is asking for a timeout. A minute to go in the half, and we're tied at 7. Without overstating the obvious, a very big 3rd down now for both of these clubs. Remember, we're tied at 7, and momentum would be an important thing to take with you into that dressing room at halftime. Birmingham would like to get some points. Denver would love to turn them aside here. 3rd down at the 24-yard line, going to be tough on the Denver Gold.
Well, it is, and the second quarter really has been Birmingham's highest scoring period so far this season. They scored 48 in the first period through the year, 84 in the second, 50 in the third, and 32 in the fourth. So big difference, big play.
3rd down and 3 at the 24. Lane hands off, and it's going to be no gain by White. Dropped at the 24-yard line. Great defensive play by Andy Paremba. Now, Don Heinrich, we had talked earlier about the great 3rd down conversion rate of this Birmingham club, almost 47%. They have not converted a 3rd down in 3 attempts, now make it 4 attempts. And here's Norwood again to try a field goal, a 42-yard effort.
And they actually lost about a half a yard on that play, and Raleigh Dodge knows, hey, when you get down there, you take points. We missed a field goal earlier from a fairly similar distance. We got to get one now.
Norwood missed a 41-yarder. Here's his try for 42. He's got the distance, but he's wide again. No, he's got it good this time. It looked to me to be wide. Well, I missed. I thought he made the first one. He didn't.
You're permitted a mistake. First one this year. The eyes are going.
This one was wide. All right. Norwood kicks it through, and Birmingham goes on top. They take a 10-7 lead on a 42-yard field goal by Norwood. He's 17 of 24 now, and Birmingham, after getting the ball on their own 47, turns it into a 3-pointer, and they've got a 10-7 lead. 20 seconds remain in the half.
Well, you emphasize the importance of going into the halftime with a lead and some momentum, where they started out the opening drive of this football game, marched down the field, made it look easy, looked like it was going to be a runaway if that was any indication, but then Denver, stiffening up on defense, forced the Birmingham Stallions to have to punt it away several times. Then they went down, scored once themselves, and since that time their offense has been fairly solid. Their defense has been very good, so 3 points is big at this stage for the Stallions.
The kickoff now, some people who can run it back. It's a low bouncer that comes to Stamper, picks it up on the second bounce. This kid is awfully quick, trying to get outside, gets to the 25, and down he goes. 14 seconds remaining in the first half, and we'll see now about the Denver offense. Grant Jean made the stop. 6 plays, 39 yards, the field goal of 42 by Norwood to give Birmingham its 3-point advantage as we're nearing the end of this first half. I want to remind you, Ron Blanding, the owner of the Denver Gold, has agreed to come by and visit with us at halftime. And, of course, we'll be talking about what everybody's been talking about, the controversy around the firing of Coach Red Miller, Morton being hired, and his battles with the media here in Denver and the surrounding area.
That should be very interesting, Tom. I'm sure you've got some good questions that is going to be interesting to the fans as well.
First down at the 25-yard line for Denver in just a handful of seconds. This is Bo Matthews on the sweep. Bo head down out to the 32-yard line, a gain of 7. 2nd and 3, 6 seconds, and it appears the clock is going to run out. Don't forget, the big plays are coming up at halftime as well. And there's the gun. That ends the first half of play. A surprisingly good one, a very tough, tenacious effort by this Denver club. At halftime, Birmingham 10, Denver 7.
Have you driven a Ford lately? Ford and your local Ford dealer will invite you to see the 1983 Ford Cars and Trucks present the USFL, the big plays. Let's go to the Pontiac Silverdome. Last Monday night, Birmingham at Michigan. Second quarter, the Panthers trailing at home 10-0. Little quarterback Bobby Hebert makes a big throw and a big play here by Anthony Carter, number 1. Off the hands of the defender, Carter hangs on to narrow the gap to 10-7. Birmingham still in front, and the cheerleaders love it in Pontiac. Later in the second quarter, Anthony Carter, back receiver Birmingham punt, goes from hero to goat. He fumbles it. Lonnie Johnson recovers for the Stallions, and the Stallions take advantage of this turnover as they did all 3 turnovers in the first half Monday. Bob Lane to Greg Anderson, touchdown. Birmingham increases the lead to 17-7, but the Panthers come back in the third quarter. This 1-yard TD plunge by John Williams ties it up at 20-all. Now we move to the final minute of play in regulation. Birmingham on the drive, which they hope will be the game winner. Bob Lane looking long for Ron Fredwick, and the ball is intercepted by Fred Logan. He rolls into the end zone, tries to spike the ball. Hey, Fred, the ball is still alive, but Daryl Mason of Birmingham makes a heads-up play, covers it. The official signals touchdown Birmingham. But they got together later, about 3 or 4 minutes later, changed the play. Michigan got possession. Neither team could score in the last minute of regulation. Raleigh Dodge says, hey, we should have won the game. Didn't work out that way. But in the overtime, Scott Norwood put an end to all the speculation. 46-yard field goal, winner. Birmingham beats Michigan 23-20 in overtime. Then last Sunday afternoon, Mile High Stadium in Denver, the Gold taking on the LA Express in a Pacific Division battle. The fans are mad about the firing of Red Miller. No doubt about that. And I guess the Denver defense was mad also. They come out smoking. The guys in black and gold come up with an early interception of a Mike Ray pass. That's David Dumars. He intercepts, and it looks here like he goes all the way for the touchdown, but he stepped on the sideline and about the 30-yard line out of bounds, so it wasn't a touchdown, but it was still a big play for Denver because that set up their first TD of the ballgame. Quarterback Alvin White back to pass, hits running back Harry Sidney across the middle. 32 yards for the score. The Gold take a 7-0 lead in the first half. Meanwhile, the Express, well, they were playing more like a local. Big tight end Ricky Ellis, one of the leading receivers in the league. He's wide open on a 4th down play. Nobody around him, looks like a touchdown. He drops the ball. Then later on in this first half, Vince Abbott badly shanks a field goal attempt, and the Express just can't put any points on the board in the first half. But the second half, LA played very well. Good catch coming up by recently signed Anthony Allen. Mike Ray has all day to pass, finds Allen inside the 25. Allen gets nailed but hangs onto the ball. That set up a TD pass. Mike Ray to John Barnett, 19 yards, and we're tied up in Denver at 7 apiece. The Gold went ahead 10-7 on a field goal, but a big play coming up here for LA. Third down, blitz is on. Mike Ray beats the blitz as he finds Wilbert Hazlitt. Hazlitt gets it all the way down to the 6-yard line of Denver, and then running back John Barnett goes over for the winning touchdown. LA wins a real gut-wrencher in Denver. Final, the Express 14 and the Gold 10. Then the Boston Breakers and the Washington Federals last Sunday afternoon, RFK Stadium, nation's capital, first quarter. Johnny Walton of the Boston Breakers had a good day. Not very many people showed up to watch the game, though, just over 7,000. Here in the first quarter play, Walton hooks up with the speedy Frank Lockett. It's a rainy, muddy day, but Lockett hangs on, 7-0 Boston. In the second quarter, though, Washington quarterback Mike Hohensee, who's really putting some points on the board the last couple of weeks, finds former Boston Breaker running back Billy Taylor. Some great moves by Taylor. He goes 46 yards for the touchdown, and the Federals at home have tied Boston by a count of 7-7. With 4 minutes to go in the first half, Hohensee finds Mike Holmes over the middle. Holmes makes the catch, and watch the maneuvering across the middle of this muddy field. 34 yards for the touchdown. And at halftime, Washington led Boston 14-7 to the fourth quarter. It's 14-13. Washington hanging on by the skin of their teeth. Hohensee back to pass, picked off by linebacker Mike Brewington, who returns the ball back to the Washington Federal 34-yard line with 7 minutes left in the game. And then quarterback Johnny Walton. Little play fake, fakes to his right, pump fake there, and finds Charlie Smith wide open. Touchdown, 39 yards, 2-point conversion good. The Boston Breakers stay alive in the chase for the wild card playoff spot. They beat Washington 21-14. Last Sunday evening, Sun Devil Stadium, Tempe, Arizona. Philadelphia Stars looking for their 8th win in a row against the Arizona Wranglers. 52-yard pass play early for Philly, the team in red. Quarterback Chuck Fusina hooks up with Willie Collier. The youngster at the University of Pittsburgh makes a good run across the middle of the beautiful turf there in Arizona. That set up a Kelvin Bryant touchdown. 1 of 2 on the night for number 44. Bryant, of course, the league's second leading runner 12 weeks into the season. Early second quarter. Arizona back to pass. Alan Risher looking over the middle of the field. It's tipped and intercepted by Scott Werner. Werner, of course, the former All-American from the University of Georgia. That set up another Philadelphia touchdown as quarterback Fusina, number 14, would fade back to pass and look for Tom Donovan, his old teammate at Penn State. Donovan makes the catch in the end zone, 20 yards in a TD, 14-0 Stars. With a score 14-7, third quarter, Philly again on the drive. It's again Fusina to Willie Collier for 10 yards. And then Kelvin Bryant, who ran for 106 yards in this game, picks up another 15 yards, picking his way downfield. He's a slashing type of runner. You really don't get a good hit on Kelvin Bryant. That set up Bryant's second touchdown of the night, 1-yard dive, and Philly wins its 8th in a row, 24-7 against Arizona. The Oakland Invaders invaded Tampa Stadium last weekend to battle the Tampa Bay Bandits. First drive of the game, 80-yard drive. Mike Kelly, the quarterback for Tampa, to Eric Trevelyan, 21 yards. Trevelyan, a nice run, nice maneuvering, touchdown. Bandits lead it 7-0. Later on in the first half of play, Kelly over the middle to Danny Buggs. This is second quarter action now. 18 yards for Buggs, the former National Football League veteran. That puts the Bandits in good position in Oakland territory. Now, watch this perfect pass play over the middle. Again, Kelly, the youngster from Georgia Tech, to Willie Gillespie, 16 yards, touchdown. Bandits led it 17-3 at halftime. Second half, former NFL All-Pro tight end Raymond Chester goes out for a pass here for Oakland. Fred Basana looks around, got plenty of time, finds Chester. Chester is nailed about the helmet. He had to be taken off the field on a stretcher, and fortunately it was nothing more than a strained neck. So it looks like Raymond Chester will be playing some more football this season. Let's hope so. Bandit defense was also tough on this night. Fred Basana sacked here by nose tackle Ron Simmons, big number 50 of Tampa Bay. And a great effort here by little Greg Boone. Who says little guys can't play football? The game is already salted away, but Boone, does he quit? No. He smells that goal line. You think he's down? Guess again. Greg Boone, touchdown. Tampa Bay victory over Oakland, 29-9 last Saturday in Tampa. Then, of course, the Chicago Blitz and the New Jersey Generals last Sunday afternoon at Giant Stadium. We'll pick it up first quarter. 4th and goal, New Jersey. Herschel Walker, touchdown, New Jersey. The Generals lead it 7-0. The Blitz come back in the second quarter. Greg Landry drops back, dumps it over the middle to little Lenny Willis, who makes a big play, goes all the way for the touchdown. We're tied at halftime at 7 apiece. Early fourth quarter, big loss for the Blitz. Landry completes the pass to Wayman Buggs, yes, but Landry goes down with a fractured ankle, and Greg Landry is out for the season. 10-7 Blitz, and the Generals come right back. They run the reverse. Walter Tullis, big play here. He has some daylight and runs down to the 40-yard line of the Chicago Blitz. From there, you give it to your big play man, Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker finds a gap, runs in from 25 yards out, runs over the defensive back here. The PAT no good. The Generals had a 3-point lead, 13-10. Costly play for New Jersey, though. Herschel, well, he turns the ball over. Trying for that extra yard, he fumbles. Lance Shields recovers on the New Jersey 8-yard line. From there, the Chicago Blitz were stalled, so they had to settle for a field goal from Frank Corral. It's good from 35 yards out. We're tied at 13. We go to overtime. In the overtime, quarterback Tim Cagle replacing Greg Landry throws a bomb here to Trumaine Johnson down the right side. Watch how Johnson pushes out the defender, gets open, no flag. George Allen decides to go for the field goal to win the game in OT. We got the field position. Go for it. Corral lines up. Cagle, the holder. Cagle takes off with the football. He runs into the end zone. Touchdown. Chicago Blitz win it in overtime against New Jersey. The final 19-13. Have you driven a Ford lately? Ford and your local Ford dealer who invite you to see the 1983 Ford Cars and Trucks have presented the USFL, the Big Play. Now let's go to Denver. Tom Kelly and the owner of the Denver Gold, Ron Blanding.
10-7, Birmingham leads Denver here at halftime. Before the players take the field for the second half, a chance to visit with the owner of the Denver Gold, Mr. Ron Blanding. We thank you, first of all, for coming by.
Hey, thank you.
You became a national celebrity about 10 days ago, and Mr. Blanding fired one of the most popular of all Denver coaches, Red Miller. I expected that you expected media coverage in town to be kind of against you, but did you think you'd become a national figure over that?
Well, we thought we'd have a lot of problems when we did that, but we thought that was the right thing to do for the Denver Gold, and we wanted to change the direction of the Denver Gold, and that's what we did.
Do you think the media has given you a fair shake, Ron?
Well, you know, they got to do whatever they think is right. I don't want to be critical of them. They did what they thought.
One of the criticisms I've read about you and your ball club is that you have failed to go out and get some top-flight football players. Is that a fair criticism?
Well, we signed a good one the other day in Craig Morton.
Yes, you did.
Plus, we got Vincent White last week, and we'll be signing more and more players right now, so we'll get in good shape here pretty quick.
And you've made some other reorganizational plans, namely you've got Fred Gerke in now in a special role in your front office.
Yeah, it's nice to have Fred. Fred's always been a good friend of mine, and he'll do a good job for us. We're very glad to have him.
You've had great fan acceptance here.
We sure have. It's been great, and it'll continue. We'll get this thing going pretty good, and everything will be fine.
And you're going to have the championship game July the 17th?
Yeah, that's really great to have it the first year. It's really going to be accepted here, and it'll be a great thing. Everybody will remember that for a long time to come.
Thank you for coming by. I know it's not easy to be focused in on, but you've come by and come through it like a champion. We appreciate your efforts. We want to thank you very much for spending these moments with us.
Hey, thank you for inviting me.
And good luck with the franchise.
Thank you very much.
Ron Blanding, the owner of the Denver Gold. It's 10-7. Birmingham leads, but only by 3 at halftime. Here's Don Heinrich.
Well, the possessions in the first half, of course, the opener, Birmingham drove downfield 84 yards, culminating in the touchdown. And then the defense of the Denver Gold stiffened up, forcing him to punt. Good field position on that punt. They got nothing out of it. Then they came down, starting at their own 17, drove 59 yards, missed a field goal, a crucial at that point. And then starting from their own 20, it was 4 and out. And, of course, the last possession, they went 29 yards, starting again in good field position at their own 47, and put 3 more on the board to go ahead 10-7. Denver, on the other hand, had not good field position in the first half. The first couple times out, backed up around the 20-yard line. They had to punt the ball away. Then the third time, they took it 76 yards in 13 plays. The option play going over for the touchdown was Fred Mortensen, an excellent drive. Then again, they fell back, had to punt the football away, and then got just one play before the half. They decided to kill the clock with that one, and of course went in trailing 10-7. So as the clubs are back out on the field, they're getting ready for the kickoff here in the second half. Denver is lined up to go. The Birmingham Stallions kickoff coverage teams is ready, Tom, so it's all yours, big fella.
Thank you, Don. Norwood will be kicking off, and Scott Stamper, one of the newest additions of this Denver Gold football team. And a real speed burner, they have told us, standing at the 5-yard line. Certainly some people back there who can run with it. Vincent White, one of the newest additions. He's a real pick-him-up-and-lay-him-down type guy. Number 44, and James, who is also fleet of foot. Norwood to kick off. It is his field goal of 42 yards that is the difference between these two football teams. Each has taken advantage of a long drive to put touchdowns on the board, and Norwood's field goal, after missing one of 41, he hits one of 42, and that's the margin as we await the start of the third period. Again, we want to thank Ron Blanding, owner of the Denver Gold, for taking moments to come by and visit with us here at halftime. He certainly was the focus of attention around the league, but he apparently has taken it quite well. He'll weather the storm. Very successful businessman. Boy, Norwood just about hit it out of the county.
Did he ever?
Boy, off the back end of the end zone, and Denver will bring it to the 20. It'll be a touchback and a 1st and 10 for the Denver Ball Club on the Gold 20-yard line. Fred Mortensen, who completed 3 of 9 for 25 yards and scored the only touchdown, a 3-yard run on a keeper play, climaxing a 76-yard drive, comes out to quarterback the ball club. Now, lest you're critical of Mortensen, remember he was no better than the 3rd-string quarterback, and they've had some shuffling around in that department. Johnson, of course, their number 1, is injured. Knaffel was traded away. In fact, he's going to be starting. He's back east now. So Mortensen has taken over, and he's just really getting his playing legs under him. Back to throw to start the third period. Going to get sacked and wrapped up at the 15. Mike Raines in on top of him. Rogers, number 74, who might have done something about keeping Raines off the back of his quarterback, just kind of hitched up his pants and said, "I'll get you next time, big guy."
I'll tell you one thing. He about gave him pneumonia. He went by him so quick. Raines being their top pass rusher. That was his 6th sack of the year. And he went in there and jumped on Mortensen before Mortensen even had a chance to set up. But Craig Morton, not wasting any time despite being on the 20. He was going to come out firing.
So we've got Mortensen now at his own 15-yard line. 2nd down and 15. Third period just underway. Denver with its opening possession. 10-7. They trail Birmingham. The linebackers stunting in and out. Mortensen to throw. Comes out on the side to Sidney, and Sidney can't hang on. It was a tough catch coming out of the backfield, turning back for the ball. McPherson out there. I'd like to see him get Sidney one-on-one. This kid out of Kansas, who was a quarterback in the Wishbone offense under Don Fambro down there at Kansas for the first 2 years, and then went to fullback as a blocking back in the I formation, then finally got to carry the ball as tailback briefly. Is an outstanding talent. He now comes out of the ball game now, and going in is Vincent White. So it's 3rd and 15 at the 15-yard line as Craig Morton looks on. Vincent White is a smallish back, about 5'8" and 175 to 180. Teammates were calling him moneybags on the sidelines in practice yesterday. Newest addition to the club. Long count by Mortensen. Boy, I don't think he got it away. He didn't. He ran out of 32nd time. Mortensen, well, Don Heinrich, you played quarterback, the National Football League, and with a great deal of brilliance during your career. 25 years or so you've spent around this game, and 15 of them under center. I suppose a guy just in there he's got some problems. He's trying to read a defense, trying to think, was he called the right play? He got a lot of things going through his mind, doesn't he?
Well, he certainly has, and you've expressed that he has not played a great deal, has had not a lot of game experience. That time, Birmingham was faking the blitz. Mortensen was trying to read that defense, come off to a different play with all the jumping around that was going on in there, and he just took a little too much time. You got to read it quick and get it conveyed to your receivers in a hurry.
Well, he's got receivers wide right and left. 4 men out. 1 lone setback. It's 3rd down and 20 now. They're showing blitz. Boy, Spencer juking in and out of the line. Mortensen to throw. Needs a big one. Downfield. He's got a man. Durden. Durden can't get it at the 40. Oh, what an effort.
Well, I'll tell you what. Mortensen went to the right receiver. There's 5 defensive backs across the board, if you count them from right to left. Actually 6 in this case. They brought in a 6th defensive back. They called a dime. There he comes downfield. The guy, Mike Hatchett, has got him man for man. They had him double covered to the outside, but Hatchett, who is responsible for that inside zone or man for man on the slot when they went with 3 wides, let himself get beat. A cardinal sin. He dodged a bullet. Very lucky.
Gortz to punt, and back downfield we've got Frederick awaiting the return. He's at midfield. You think Durden didn't want to catch that against his former teammates? Boy. The snap to Gortz. He's in the end zone and just does get it away. Gets knocked down, but no flag. Frederick at the 45 to midfield to the 46-yard line. So Birmingham with great field position and a lead. Birmingham 10-7, and they'll take over. So you want to be a kicker in pro football. In the end zone, Gortz gets the snap, and watch what he has to do.
Well, the pressure coming from the inside, some people might wonder why that is not roughing the punter, but actually the up back, as you could see from the left, got the block and, of course, forced the rushing defensive lineman, knocked him into the kicker. So really it is not a roughing the punter call. Good field position. Frederick did the best thing he could do. Took it straight back up the field in a hurry.
And that's the 47-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 Birmingham. They lead 10-7. Lane hands off and running right into the heart of that Denver defense, and that'd be big. Number 99, Calvin Turner, was Lonnie Johnson. You talk about the irresistible meeting the immovable. Boy.
Well, again, Adelette pulling across, but they have a little stunt going from that side. And, of course, Turner just drives right on into it. Pat Phoenix, 71, who you saw in the view there, is saying, wait a minute, you're not supposed to take an inside slant on me. I wanted to drive you back, open up that trap hole.
It is 2nd down and 10 at the 47. Birmingham with the ball, leading by 3, and Lane is back to throw. Look at the time. Pass complete. Smith down at the 30-yard line, and on the tackle, David Martin. But Smith, rather easy catch, and all the time in the world for Lane to throw it.
As Smith comes down, he gets a little outside move, then just turns slightly inside of Dumars, a strong safety. He's covering the up area of the zone. He doesn't know Smith is turning in behind him. He's counting on help from that corner to say, going in, inside, hook move. But Smith was there, and a nice throw by Lane.
He's wide to the left. Here comes a blitz by Denver, and Johnson breaks the line of scrimmage and is brought down at the 28. Denver coming with a blitz. And Lonnie Johnson got, a couple. They'll mark it at about the 28, maybe even the 27. 2nd down for the Birmingham Stallions, who are on a hot streak. They've won 5 in a row. The last time these two teams met, Denver won it 9-7 on a 50-yarder field goal, that is, by Spielman.
with just 6 seconds to go in that football game.
Since then, Denver has not won a game, and Birmingham has come on with 5 in a row. And the Stallions are really hot, and now they lead 10-7. They've got the ball at the 27-yard line, 2nd down and 7. And the give to Lonnie Johnson, cuts back to the 25. Pretty good pressure. Paremba made the stop, but Gherkin, Don Heinrich, unless I saw it wrong, came in and really forced Johnson right back inside.
Yes, he did. Mark Battaglia, the right guard, number 59, was pulling from right to left. Gherkin was penetrating, and he met the trap move by Battaglia very strong, dropped the shoulder, had good leverage, and forced it back where the pursuit could get it.
31 yards on 7 carries for Lonnie Johnson, who really is an all-purpose back. He does a lot of things for Raleigh Dutch's club. Lane to throw. Almost intercepted. Pass intended for Mason, the tight end. Over there very quickly was Dumars. Dave has got 6 interceptions out of the 11 turned in by this Gold defensive unit. Dumars has been the most active in that regard. That toss by Lane was not too artistic, and Mason really had a little chance to get it. Dumars had the best shot at it. He really didn't have that big a chance. Well, we're going to have Norwood try still another 42-yarder by Norwood. He hit one prior to the end of the half that put his team on top by 3. He's missed one from 41, so here we go. The snap, and it's down. Again, he's got the distance. And again, it's good. So Norwood, one of the most prolific of the kickers in this league, makes it 13-7 Birmingham. Norwood, who's 18 of 25 in field goals, kicks off. Stamper out of the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. It'll be a touchback, in Denver 1st and 10 at that point. This Norwood now has hit 2 out of 3 tonight, and his second 42-yarder. This kid's a fine-looking kicker, Don Heinrich. 6 plays, 22 yards, and he gets the 42-yard field goal, and now 13-7 Birmingham.
Well, the Denver defense toughened up after Birmingham had excellent field position at that 47-yard line. They moved the ball for a couple of first downs, a big play pass from Lane to Smith, but then they couldn't move it on the ground as the defense did tighten up.
James is flanked to the left and Durden to the right. We've got Vincent White as the I-back or tailback in the I formation. Mortensen, the quarterback, at his own 20, sends James in motion. The give to White, and the little guy slides forward to about the 24. Now White is listed at 5'8" and 190. And at that size, it is easy to overlook him.
Well, the guys on defense don't. They know that he's a little fire plug out there with excellent quickness. And, you know, at 5'9", as you said, and almost 200 pounds, he's a compact guy. And you try and hit him high, you're going to bounce off him. Yet he has the quickness to change direction.
13-7 Birmingham. Second possession of the third period for the Denver Gold. And Mortensen, the quarterback, needs to put a drive together. Birmingham shows a 7-man front. Now the linebackers drop back out again. On the delay, the handoff to Canada. He's over the 25 out to the 28. Walker makes the stop. In there also was McPherson. Jimmy Walker out of Arkansas, 6'3", 260-pounder. He was with the LA Express when the year started, and they cut him.
He was a leading tackler in that defensive line going into this game with 68. And he did a good job there playing off of Tom Davis, the offensive center, and then moving in to make the play.
Third down and a long 2 at the 28-yard line. Denver has not converted a third down in 4 tries. Mortensen hands off to Sidney, flag down, and Sidney is dropped as he tried to cut. Slipped and fell at the 25. In there on top of him was Rick D'Amico, very active linebacker, and a flag on the play. Going to have an offside called against Birmingham, and that's going to give the Denver Gold a new lease on life and a first down.
Well, that's one thing Denver has done during this 5-game winning streak is not made many costly errors. They had their share of penalties. We'll get the call. Well, apparently,
Don, we're having trouble with Dave Kamansky's mic. Yeah.
Yes, his doesn't seem to be working. But, you know, everybody's going to get penalties. It's a matter of when they come and if you get hurt. In this instance, it keeps a drive alive when Denver is having a little bit of trouble here. Second possession in the third quarter to get the ball moving.
D'Amico made the stop. the tackle was called for being offside. So it's first down Denver at their 33-yard line. I formation, James in motion. Play action, Mortensen gets a rush. Steps up, may run it. He's got some room. Hold it. They're going to call him dead at the 25-yard line.
And you know why?
Oh, my.
Frank Reed, the strong safety, was blitzing, and they didn't have him picked up. And despite the fact that he went in clean, Mortensen stepped inside of him. Craig Morton, very irate on the sidelines, and that always goes back to the official that it's a judgment call, and in that instance, a terrible judgment by the official, because really, Mortensen, you'll see Frankie Reed coming in from the right, and then Mortensen steps up. Now, there's no way that Reed would have gotten him, but the official in the back, in order to protect the quarterback, said, no, he was down, and that's reason enough for Craig Morton to be unhappy, and I don't blame him.
Well, it's quite obvious that the replay showed that Reed did not have Mortensen. Ball goes back to the 25. Tough call for Kamansky. Canada pulling his way over the 35 to the 36-yard line. D'Amico, one of several there to make the stop. Also coming up, Billy Caesar. Really a very, very tough call for Kamansky, and if he had the benefit of instant replay, he would have swallowed his whistle because Reed never did have a legitimate grab on Mortensen.
Well, he certainly didn't in the normally very mild-mannered Craig Morton, showing his competitive spirit on the sideline, says there is no way that that man had him down or in his grasp, as the rule reads.
Third down and 7. The ball is call it third down and 7 at the 36-yard line. Big play time for Mortensen now. Birmingham showing almost an 8-man front. Mortensen to throw, steps up, looking, goes long downfield for Durden, and it is incomplete. Oh, what a battle between Caesar and Durden at the 15-yard line, and Caesar won that contest.
And they've done that a few times in practice when they were teammates down in Birmingham. A nice job by Mortensen. Good protection. As he drops back, you see the cup in front of him. Now he'll step up as the pressure goes around him, the offensive line moving him back. He lays it out over the top, unfortunately a little back to the inside. Had it been to the outside, there might have been a chance that Durden could go for the ball, but again, just a tad short, and Caesar getting a hand in.
And now Gortzen to kick it away for the Denver Gold. High snap, steps up and hits it. Good kick, end over end. Frederick, great returner, fumbles it through his legs. The ball is on the turf, scramble for it, and a huge pileup.
I believe that Denver might have recovered that one. If I were to just take a guess, they had it for a moment.
I tell you, Frederick made an awful good effort to get it back. We'll see how it turns out.
You can bet one thing, there's a lot of pulling and tugging going on underneath that pile.
Indeed.
Aha, I called one right for a change.
Denver has the ball at about the 15-yard line.
And that crowd can tell you that they got that football. Big break for the Golds at this point, and a costly error on the part of the Birmingham Stallions. Right there, the ball drops down. He loses it. He doesn't know where it is. Now he sees it. He goes for it. Good hustle. First man down. Second man in Birmingham. He goes. They overrun it. Another Birmingham man. Now everybody into the pile. And when I say they're tugging on that football underneath, you need some arm strength, because everybody is trying to jerk it away from the guy that has an arm lock on it.
Napton is the guy credited with the recovery, and they're going to mark it at the 11-yard line. Great field position, quite obviously, for the Denver Gold. They're down 13-7. Birmingham's turned it over twice. The other time was the interception.
Good chance for play action.
Mortensen, with the roar of this crowd still ringing in his ears, back to throw, fires it out in the flat, too high for Nizzolek, his tight end. Let me go back a moment ago to Kamansky, the referee. And of course, unless you know, let me explain that that rule, don't hit him, he's dead, is in there expressly to protect the quarterback, to keep a guy from grabbing him, standing him up, and letting everybody attack him as though he was a free lunch counter. And so the referee, acting in good faith, really blew the play dead, thinking that he was saving Mortensen from undue punishment or perhaps serious injury. As it turned out, he blew the whistle too soon, but that can happen.
That time, Frank Reed, again, strong safety blitz, was in Mortensen's face, forcing him to throw the ball high to Nizzolek.
Second down and 10 at the 11. Straight ahead, Sidney fights his way, gets to the 5-yard line. He was hit hard by Caesar and McPherson. But Harry Sidney, a hard running back out of Kansas, carries to the 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5 yards to go at the 5. Sidney's the number 6 rushing back in this United States Football League. He has only 24 yards and 6 carries. And one of the problems with the Denver offense has been they've not gotten the ball to this young man much in recent games, Don Heinrich, and he's a very important running back.
And they go with a 2 tight end offense right now. They bring in Darrell Gooseby, their backup tight end.
Mortensen on the keep. He's at the 5. He's in the end zone.
Oh, he got him with the option again.
I've never seen an Arizona State quarterback that couldn't run with the ball, Don Heinrich.
Well, you said that once, and I'll tell you what, he just verified it because the first time obviously was not a mistake, as Mortensen, for the second time tonight and the second time this year or in his career, coming down the line, he sees a little crack, gets a nice block to the inside, a little bit late by Larry McPherson, the linebacker, trying to make the play, another angle, and this time Mortensen going into the end zone as Harry Sidney picks up the block on McPherson. No hesitation on the part of Mortensen. Went for the 6 points, 2 touchdowns this evening.
So the game now is tied, and we'll see about Denver going on top. Spielman will try for the extra point, and it's up in the air, and it's good. So with 7:13 remaining in this 3rd period, Denver turns a break into 7. The Gold 14, Birmingham 13. That possession was a fumble.
On the 11. Start on the 11.
Monday night should be some kind of an exciting evening in the United States Football League, and here on ESPN, we've got Tampa Bay up at Michigan, and what an important contest that'll be. And of course, Chicago playing host to Arizona. Chicago's got a new quarterback, Scott, in the trade with New Jersey. George Allen losing Greg Landry. Al Risher's got all kinds of touchdowns, and Arizona beat the Chicago Blitz early on in the year. And of course, it's a real scramble in that Central Division. Tampa Bay on top, Chicago a game back, Birmingham and Michigan 2 back, and I tell you, Birmingham now is a point back, and a very, very important ball game for the Stallions right now as the Gold kicks off. In the end zone, Kincaid bobbles it, touches it down, and the ball will come out to the 20, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Birmingham at that point.
Once again, a little extracurricular activity going on down in the field as Raleigh Dodge, arms folded, looks on. 3 plays. Total yards, there has to be some discrepancy in that. Tapped by the 5-yard run. They started that drive. Was not the recovery at the 11-yard line?
Indeed it was. The ball was kicked. It was taken over by Birmingham en route to that. They fumbled it, recovered at the 11. So it is 3 plays, 11 yards on that touchdown drive. Mortensen putting his team on top, 14-13. Now we'll see about Birmingham as they take over on their own 20-yard line. Lane to throw with a lot of time, and over the middle to his tight end. And Mason is, what a tough customer, at the 30, wrestled about before he's finally down, lying right across that 30-yard line stripe. Miller was there, number 23, and you see big number 55, Putt Choate, who leads this Denver Gold club in defensive tackles. 38,829, the best looked at team in the United States Football League. And of course, you know there's a storm of controversy here in Denver over the firing of Red Miller, but that will disappear tonight if Craig Morton debuts as a winner. And he's up by 1. It is now
a winner.
1st and 10 at the 30. That's White with it, turns the corner. He's got 5, hustled out of bounds, driven out by Tyler, but a nice gain by Billy White. We've told you, I think, but it bears repeating. He comes by his athletic prowess quite naturally. His father, an outstanding Major League Baseball player for the St. Louis Cardinals, and then, of course, the Yankees. In fact, he does the Yankee games now, Bill White.
Well, Pat Sandin is in there at the right guard, replacing Mark Battaglia. I believe I called him Battaglia earlier in the game. Battaglia, we don't know what the injury is, or whether Raleigh Dodge just wants to give him a little breather.
Lane with a 2nd and 3. The ball is at his own 37-yard line. Hurdling to the 40-yard line is Lonnie Johnson. And again on top of him there, short. Number 53 coming up on defense is Calvin Newton.
Coming off that right side once again. Just kind of a slip block at that point between the center and the offensive left guard. Not much there. as the defense closes it in a hurry, they jumped into it quickly and shut it down with a gap angle move that, knowing Birmingham likes to run that football, decided to gamble, and it worked for him.
Skabinski's come in to add some blocking strength. That is 3rd down and inches, and a first down as Talton barrels straight ahead, getting a nice rush by the offensive line on the left side. You've heard Don Heinrich refer to the likes of Bob Woods and Buddy Adelette. Banks, of course, the veteran center. They move things around pretty good in there, and there's Talton for the first down.
Yes, and Talton normally running from the halfback position. Just a power play. They pulled again, Sandin from right to left, a little bit of a quick trap type of a move. Earl Gant, their normal starter that had a good game against Michigan, came up lame prior to the ball game, so he didn't suit up. They're a little short of backs out there tonight.
Denver on top by 1. 3rd period action, and Birmingham's Lane in the backfield tries to set up a screen to Johnson. Great defense by the goal. Initially, Greg Gherkin. He's a pro out of northern Arizona, local product, I might add. Colorado boy, and he was there quickly, and Johnson, in his effort to get away from him, was just there too long, and the rest of the goal came over.
Well, you described it perfectly, that Gherkin, quick pursuit on the screen out to that side, never had a chance to get set up. And at that point, Johnson trying to elude Gherkin, they just ran out of time because the quick pursuit from the inside forced it down and shut him down with actually a loss.
Anderson wide left, Smith to the right. Smith has a touchdown catch tonight. Lane to throw, looking for Smith. He's got him open. It's caught at the 45, and Jimmy Smith is down to the 43.
Boy, was he ever open at that point. Rolling into a zone on that side, one of the Birmingham players injured. Smith coming downfield, passes the front man, David Martin, the corner, and then turns. You see coming into the picture, number 21 at that stage, the strong safety, Dave Dumars, overran it wide to the outside. So big gain, a crucial game. We'll be back in a moment. The score 14-13.
Birmingham Stallions have their schedule a tough one. Tampa Bay twice, Boston, Chicago, and Philadelphia. Notice that there's not a losing team on their upcoming schedule. And if anybody had their future in their hands, the Birmingham Stallions do.
Well, as you talked to Raleigh Dotch before the ball game, one of his concerns was that his club wouldn't be too weary, Tom. He expressed it to you down there. You showed the schedule, Raleigh on the sideline, and they might be wearing down just a little bit in the second half with just 3 days rest.
Well, they played Monday night against Michigan, a very tough game that you saw here on ESPN, and now they're involved in another toughie. Play action, Lane to throw, dumps it out. That's White behind the line. Oh, what a fine reaction. Over to make the stop was Putt Choate. I mean, you talk about back-to-back linebacker reactions to screen passes left and right. First Gherkin, now Choate. That's great defense.
It really is, and you indicated how active they are, and you said earlier that Choate was the leading tackler in that defensive linebacker core, and on this football team, he also led the Southern Methodist Mustangs in tackles 2 straight years. So he's no stranger when it comes to finding the man with the football.
So Birmingham on the Denver 44. It's now 2nd and 11. Denver leads 14-13, and Lane is back to throw. Looks for his tight end. He's got him. Stevens, and the big guy crashes to the 35-yard line. Stevens indeed is a big target. 6'3", 230 out of Oklahoma State. He caught 3 passes coming into this game, had one of those for a touchdown. But I mean, that is a real-sized man, and when you get him in the open with that football, you've got your hands full.
The drop of the secondary, you see the two safeties dropping deep, and the corners up, the linebackers to the inside. They used a double outside zone. Lane read it perfectly, went to the right man in that case, Stevens the tight end, and got some very crucial yardage.
3rd down and 2, and now Skabinski in. He's set to the right side to help with the blocking. That's Johnson on the sweep. Got the first down.
Oh, an individual effort, I might add, as the blitz was coming.
Indeed.
Had a 9-man rush at that point. Jimmy Carr, the defensive coordinator, says it's time to gamble. He brought everybody, including the kitchen sink and the fans in the end zone.
Now they're going to ask for the chain to come in for a measurement. With that tough schedule that Birmingham has ahead of it, 2 games with Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago, not a losing team on the schedule. Bear in mind also, they could be whistling with a little help from our friends, because Tampa Bay could help them out at Michigan Monday night, and Arizona could help them out in Chicago Monday night. So they might get a little help in that scramble for a spot in the playoffs. We think that it's going to boil down to Chicago, Birmingham, Michigan, and Boston to see who gets that wild card berth.
In this particular game, a long way to go with 2:19 left here in the third quarter. A nice drive by Birmingham at this stage. Pretty much kept alive by passing, but now they're in scoring territory.
Lane has hit 13 of 18, 176 yards. Handoff straight ahead inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. On the carry, that's White. And defensively, a lot of people, Paremba among others, and Choate. White gets up, shaking just a bit, jogs off. Coming on now is Talton. Johnson and Talton are in the backfield now. Wide to the left is Smith. He has a touchdown catch. To the right side is Anderson. 2nd and 7. Lane to throw it. Again, he put it up almost for grabs. Over defensively with a good shot at it was Newton. Pass was intended for Talton, but Talton really had no chance to grab that ball.
Lane had plenty of time to throw the football. He didn't have really any pressure. Denver not blitzing that particular time, so they only had the 3-man rush coming. And Raleigh Dodge changing up. He will normally, while he does change up a lot with the play action stuff, will keep running those traps from side to side, maybe get 2, maybe 1, maybe nothing, then hope to break the big one, which they generally do.
Frederick and Smith to the right side. Back to throw is Lane. Intercepted at the 30, 40, midfield. Down the field with it is Dumars. He's at the 20 and may go all the way. Touchdown, Denver Gold. Dumars with his 7th interception of the year, his first tonight. And we'll await it officially, but I'm going to call it 75 yards or thereabouts.
Well, he came in 2nd in the league in interceptions, and this certainly was the most important interception I think that he has had this season. And all of his teammates are congratulating him because they took the Birmingham Stallions that were within relatively close field goal range, if not eventually going for the touch. A bad mistake by Lane, who rarely makes this type of a poor judgment as he's dropping back. He will throw out to the right side. He never sees Dumars cutting across in front. The ball at that stage intended for Darrell Mason, and it is a foot race.
And very close to 75 yards.
The guy that was chasing him was Jimmy Walker. That's a bit of a mismatch.
So the try for the extra point. Line is set. Spielman puts it up, and it's good. And so, with timeout here and 1:15 to go, Denver 21, Birmingham 13. Craig Morton, the new head coach of the Denver Gold, in his first ever appearance, he told me before the game, Don Heinrich, he always wanted to coach at this level. I almost would say to him now, if you knew it was going to be this easy, you'd have done it a lot sooner.
Well, that's right. 1:15 to go in the third quarter. He's out in front, 21-13. He says, man, this is a piece of cake in this game. But no, really, Tom, you know, yesterday watching the practice, you were there with me. He was talking to that ball club. We could overhear him. He said, look, fellas, I want you guys to have a lot of fun. I'm talking about enthusiasm. I'm talking about being aggressive. I want aggressive football. And then he says to us later, well, we'll see if they accept my style. Right now they have been aggressive. And David Dumars, who picked off that 7th interception of his career this season, took it down the sideline to give him a nice cushion. The pressure now on the Birmingham Stallions.
So, kicking off Spielman. You saw Kincaid, number 80. He's waiting down at the goal line. Spielman hits it at him. He's at the 7 to the 10. Kincaid to the 15, 20. Nice return out to the 25-yard line.
Dumars coming on the field, 78-yard interception return. So he's got to be a very, very happy fellow out of Northeast Louisiana, where he was both a receiver in the early years of his career and then moved to a defensive back as one of the Denver Gold players is injured down on the field.
Bungart's linebacker out of Cal State Fullerton, number 57, shaken up.
Well, you know, the other thing we talked about on this Birmingham club, and they are a young football team, a lot of them in their first or second year. And now is a case of to see what kind of poise they have trailing well, for the first time in virtually 5 football games, Tom, that they've had to come from behind. They've been playing extremely well, but have been in control virtually all of those wins. So now, for the first time, with just 3 days rest, they're down by 8 points, and yet a long time to go. So it'll be a case of seeing what type of character they have, and if they can maintain that poise, if they can get that running game back, and then, of course, throw the ball effectively.
Let's talk about some upcoming games now, and in particular the Monday night contest. First of all, you'll see Tampa Bay at Michigan up at the Silver Dome in Pontiac. That'll be coming your way at 6 o'clock in the East and 3 o'clock in the Pacific Coast. Very important game. Michigan 7-5, along with this Birmingham ball club, both in pursuit of Chicago, and all of them in pursuit of Tampa Bay. Following that game in Michigan, we'll ask you to join Don Heinrich and yours truly in Chicago as Alan Risher and the Arizona Wranglers try to hang their second season loss on the Chicago Blitz. They defeated the Blitz in a magnificent come-from-behind win earlier in Arizona, and young Alan Risher is a guy who knows how to get the ball in the end zone. There's John Bungartz going off the field, being helped off by a couple of members of the medical staff, and I think he got his bell rung as much as anything, and they're probably asking John if he knows what day it is. And
how many fingers have I got up there, the trainer will say.
He's a little wobble-legged as he comes off. We hope it's nothing more serious than that.
Well, Jimmy Carr, the defensive coordinator, has always played aggressive type football, and while there is plenty of time left in this football game, he's got his defense flying around. It's interesting to watch in the course of games as momentum swings back and forth, and certainly here, where Denver had trouble moving the ball coming out at the second half, now a big turnover for a touchdown by the defense. They're cranked up.
In fact, it has been turnovers or good play by the Denver defense that has gotten them 2 scores. Lane with time, now going to get hit and sacked back at the 24-yard line. Boy, he had a lot of time to throw, but part of that was due to the excellent coverage deep by the Denver Gold secondary.
Oh, and good pressure put on by Larry White, the defensive end. You'll see Larry White coming in from the right side, number 91. As he comes around, he gets knocked sideways, but now he'll come in, forcing Lane to step up inside, and then, of course, the resulting pursuit drops him.
Second down, they call it 11. The ball at the 24. Lane to throw again. Looking with time. Now scampering. Pass is caught by Smith, who goes out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Call it the 38. 15-yard pickup and a 1st and 10 Birmingham. And Newton was there to make the stop.
Good adjustment by Lane. Smith really wasn't that totally involved in the pattern. He moves by the inside corner on the first step, gives him a little hand shove. Then he uncovers as he sees Lane in trouble. Lane, as it turns out, the rush was hard from his left side, and he moved to his right as he spotted Smith upfield. It was a relatively easy throw, dropped it in there nicely. Bungartz, we understand, Bungartz has a concussion.
First down, Birmingham. On the delay, Talton with the handoff carries to the 40-yard line, and Lavelle Short is carried right along by Ken Talton. Not an easy job. Lavelle tips the Toledos at 6'2", 260.
That last catch by Jim Smith was his 4th for 63 yards and 1 touchdown. And the offense having trouble running the football despite the fact Birmingham is going to the air. Lane getting pretty good pressure. The pass blocking breaking down just a little bit. Lane having trouble spotting those receivers. Important they pick up a big play here as we wind down to the end of the 3rd quarter.
And that's it. The end of 3 periods of play. Denver leading 21-13. All right, ball is at the 40. We start the 4th period. That's 3 turnovers for Birmingham, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. All have been turned into points, or nearly so. Long downfield, Lane can't make the completion. What a struggle down there as Martin was downfield and a flag is down, and we're going to have a roughing the passer call against Lavelle Short. Smith, the intended receiver, action on this field about 60 yards apart as Lane rifled it deep, and it was Martin and Smith in a hand-to-hand. In the meantime, Lane was getting leveled by Short. Big penalty, and it's going to keep Birmingham's drive alive.
And actually, Martin was, as you see the call being made, unnecessary roughness call or roughing the passer. Martin was fortunate at that point. They were rolling in a zone away from Smith, And where Martin should never get beat, he was beat by Smith. The ball was short. The third quarter stats in rushing yards, Denver leading the vaunted Birmingham running attack by some 11 yards, passing significant difference there between the two clubs, 25 to 191. Birmingham in control of the stats, Denver in control of the score, 21-13.
First down for Birmingham. The ball on the Denver 45. Lane on the reverse gives to Smith. Gets 5 to the 40-yard line. Again, good reaction. Tyler and Choate. Very good reaction. Penalties in this game. Denver's been assessed 9 for 68 yards, not the least of which was this last 15-yarder. Birmingham has been assessed 20 yards on 2 penalties. Now you see the big difference in yardage, 301 to 146, yet Denver leads. Bear in mind they recovered a fumble on the 11 and scored, and then a 78-yard interception and return by Dumars for another 6-pointer. So they've gotten a total of 14 points on 2 big plays defensively, so to speak. That's Talton battering his way inside the 40, short of the first down at the 37-yard line. Tackle made by Pete Perry.
And good gang tackling by that Denver Gold defense, as Perry had a lot of help. 4 people in on that tackle. And that shows that when they get ahead, or when a club does get ahead, the fact that that enthusiasm and intensity picks up significantly. And that's a good offensive line that they're giving a lot of problems to here in the second half.
Skavinsky has come in now. Kid out of Purdue, number 31 for blocking strength. White hit behind the line, but a good surge by White. And I think he's got the first down. Nobody is more upset about it than Calvin Turner, who thought he should have had him. And Turner was just working over the turf at about the 40-yard line.
He was. If he hit the ball carrier as hard as he hit the turf with his 2 forearms there, he'd have dropped him for that loss. Buddy Adelette was pulling once again from his left guard position to the right side, and really part of the reason Turner was there is Adelette read him as being upfield, figuring the back was riding his back closely, and of course by passing him he gave Turner a free shot, but with good balance they picked up the first down.
Anderson left and Smith in the slot. Lane hands off, straight ahead Talton, dips back inside, close to the 30-yard line.
Good adjustment by Talton. He wanted to run off that left side over the left tackle and left guard area. There was nothing there. The defense had cut it off, and he veered it back and turned really a no gain into about 3.5 yards.
Birmingham started this drive on their own 25-yard line, and aided and abetted by a 15-yard roughing the passer call. They've kept it alive now. Denver only has 8 first downs in this game, and Birmingham has 20. But Denver leads 21-13. Lane in the flat. Tight end Mason. Short of the first down at the 26-yard line. 3rd and a yard to go, and that's Newton over there. He's a rookie out of TCU. 6-footer, 220 pounds, number 53. And there's Mason, the tight end. 6'1", 220 out of Arkansas. Lavelle Short checks in now, and coming out of the Denver defensive set is Whittingham. 3rd down and a yard to go at the 26. 11.5 minutes remain. Again, Skavinsky is in. Added blocking strength. 2 tight ends in Skavinsky to bookend the line. First down, Talton straight ahead inside the 25.
Well, they went with the strength to the left that time, and that's just straight power play. They go to the 6-1 defense. You see everybody down, slanting to the inside. Good block up ahead of it. As they roll them back, Battaglia back in the football game, and that's just power football at that point. Pat Phoenix is down on the field. He came into this game with a bad knee. So here comes Raleigh Dutch. 21-13 Denver. We'll be back.
It'll be another first down for Birmingham. Pat Phoenix, rookie out of Mississippi, shaken up. But the good sign is that he's sitting up almost under his own power and now up on his feet. But he's going to have to go off, and there'll be some changes now in that offensive front. Saindon will have to move over there, do some double duty. The crowd looking on, Denver on top by 8, but all the statistics, except for that scoreboard, belongs to Birmingham, which certainly has got to add some frustration to the Birmingham side of the field. They've been up and down the field, but costly mistakes. A fumble by the usually very reliable Frederick gave the ball to Denver on the 11. One of 2 interceptions thrown by Lane, and Dumars ran at 78 for a score. So it's first down, Birmingham. They trail by 8, and Lane straightens to throw. Quick out, caught, driven out of bounds by Martin over there as Smith, but a flag down. I think Denver's got 12 men out there. What do you think? Delay of game against Denver. I think they've got 12 men out there.
Yep, they did have 12 men on the field.
Hey, if you can get away with it.
Well, it's worth a try. Hey, I'll tell you one time, when I was coaching, we were up here in Denver playing the Broncos about 8 or 9 years ago. They had 12 men on the goal line. We were at the 2 for 2 plays in a row. We finally knocked it in. The officials, we were yelling at them. They never did recognize the difference.
Delay of game. They're talking now with Banks, who's one of the captains for this Birmingham ball club.
That's called gamesmanship.
Really?
You know, that's a good play by Lane at that point. I'm sure he automatic to that quick out on that side. David Martin playing on the corner was really about 8 or 9 yards off, and they have not taken advantage of those corners playing soft. Well, if you can read lips, you can see that the official called.
I think that everybody can hear referee Kamansky but you and I, Don. So
they're trying to tell us something?
I know we've probably irritated our viewers by talking over Kamansky, but his mic did not work when we first saw him. Now we understand it is workable and that you're hearing him at home. We apologize for talking over him, but he's not audible to us up here. Talton tries the right side, and Denver's there to swarm him under. They made it a first down at the 18-yard line after that delay of game call against the goal for having too many men. Now Gherkin and Perry are there to stop Talton on that sweep, and they're going to advance it down to about the 15-yard line. It'll be second down and call it 2, and we understand that Phoenix suffered the bane of every football player's existence, a knee, and whether it will require surgery or not, only time will tell, and of course medical attention, but I doubt that we'll see Pat Phoenix the balance of this contest.
Well, he was doubtful with that knee coming in.
Second and 3. White straight ahead. Good hard rush by that Birmingham front line, and it appears that White may have carried for the first down. We'll see where Kamansky puts it down. It is going to be a first down for Birmingham. Mark it at the 11-yard line. 1st and 10 at the 11, which means, well, they've got it just outside the 10 now, which means they can get a first down without a touchdown.
And what an important drive this is as far as Birmingham's concerned, with just under 10 minutes to go in this football game and trailing by 8 points. They got to come up with a touchdown.
If they score, do you think they'll go for 2? On the sweep, Johnson at the 10, hit, fights inside, very close to the 5.
Good job by Johnson as he was juking around in there, and David Martin, poor tackling. He should have just zeroed in on him and taken him. He kind of went for the fakes and actually caused him to miss, quite frankly, as Johnson comes right side. Adelet out in front, gets knocked off, 78 right there. Now you see him kind of wrap his arms, but he doesn't get his body and shoulders into it. Gives him an opportunity to get about 3 extra yards out of that, and then the pursuit wraps it up.
Johnson's got him by 28 pounds, and he was under a full head of steam. That might have jarred
More
Martin
important
a
to
little
go low then.
All right, second down now and 6. White to about the 2-yard line. Then hit by Short, among others. Bottom of the pile, you see number 50. That's Gherkin. Boy, first-year pro out of northern Arizona, and he's really played just a fine football game tonight. Gherkin and Newton have been the outside people. Napton's been in there. White, Short, Turner, Paremba, and Perry have been part of that down 3-4 defensive alignment. And then Choate, Whittingham, Schnabel, Bungart's banged up. Got a slight concussion. He's been out of there.
Well, the ball sitting on about the 3, as you indicated earlier, Tom. They can get a first down at about the 1 or 1.5 foot line. Not the yard line, 1.5 foot line.
But the length of the football outside the end zone would give them a first and goal. But, of course, Birmingham wants a TD. Lane rolling, dumps it off. Nobody there but Mason. Touchdown, Birmingham. Oh, what a good call.
Oh, was it ever. And that is Mason's first touchdown of the year. So he's got to be happy. The play-action fake of the quick trap up the middle. Watch them go for it here as they close to the inside. Johnson faking up the middle. Lane rolling out. The coverage to that side totally blown. Martin gets a gift and a big 6 points for Birmingham.
So, with the touchdown catch, now Lane has thrown 2 tonight, 9 on the year. He's got his books balanced a bit. He's 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Now, they've not attempted a 2-point conversion, but they're down by 1. They need 8 points here to tie this game up.
And they have not gone for a 2-pointer this season.
It is 21-19. Denver's taking time. Craig Morton
showing the signs of all harried coaches in his first football game as a head man.
Well, a bit of speculation here. 8 minutes and 16 seconds remain. Here's another look at the touchdown toss.
Again, Lane faking to Johnson. Rolls out, he sees it quickly, no pressure, and immediately dumps it off. Normally speaking, that's going to be the safety man's responsibility to cover him. The view does not show it, but he went for the run fake, and it happened so quickly down there. You cannot hesitate. You have to stay with your responsibility. They did not stay with Mason, and he got a cinch, 6 points.
Now, keep in mind that this may not be as big a momentous decision as we would have you believe. Even if Birmingham goes for 2 and fails, a field goal would still give them a 1-point win. And, of course, if they do go for 2, they've got a tie ball game.
Well, it's a chess game. Raleigh Dutch has his kicking unit on the sideline till the last possible moment, waiting to see what the defensive unit of the Denver Gold is going to do.
And Gummy Carr was down here, had all the defensive players over talking to them like a Dutch uncle. Now you see the scoreboard and a lot of time left, 8:16. And now you look down the field here at Mile High Stadium, a 75-yard drive that took 6:44 on the clock, engineered by Lane and company.
And they're going for it.
Indeed. Lane comes back on, and Norwood stays on the sidelines. Norwood has kicked 2 field goals tonight. This is Lane's second touchdown toss. Mason catching this one. Smith got the other one. And now we're going to see about Birmingham going for 2. Right now it's 21-19 Denver. Lane, play action to throw it. All alone, Mason did not get in. Brought down by Martin. And you know, it was a great play, too.
It was a delay. Fake play action off the right side, slant. But that time, David Martin stayed with the responsibility. As you'll see the play action of Lane faking the slant to the right side. Should hide the ball in his stomach. Has plenty of time to throw the football. Skabinski makes the grab, but a good high jarring tackle by Martin, where earlier he missed the one on Johnson by not going low.
Denver leads 21-19. We'll be back. Mortenson's first try for 2 points. A well thought out play. Don, watch him as he goes for the tight end Mason.
Well, this time, rather than Mortensen, it's Lane.
Lane.
That is dropping back. But watch the high tackle. He puts the headgear up into the numbers area, catches him on the arm, but by virtue of where he took him, he took away his momentum and kept him from getting that extra 1.5 yards into the end zone. As Martin standing on the sideline talking to one of the coaches upstairs saying that's the way to tackle him. When Johnson, the big back that he missed a couple plays earlier, should have taken him low, that time he did the right thing by going high and taking the leverage of Skabinski away and shutting off the 2-pointer.
Now it's incumbent upon Denver to get down for field position and a 3-pointer if nothing else. It puts the onus on Birmingham and forces them to go for a touchdown. James has it at the 10. 15-20. Bumped but stays on his feet out to about the 27-yard line. If Denver can add 3, it really puts the pressure on Birmingham. They must get 6 to win. There's the scoring drive, 15 plays, 75 yards, and the touchdown toss. Lane's second of the evening. Mason catching this one earlier in the opening drive. It had been Smith, and in between, Norwood with 2 42-yard field goals. Denver's gotten 2 touchdowns out of Mortensen on short yardage runs on quarterback keepers, and they've gotten a 78-yard interception return by Dumars. And now they start 1st and 10 on the Gold 26-yard line. Mortensen at quarterback has gone all the way. Handoff to Sidney, straight ahead. Not a bad charge by that offensive line. The ball on the turf, coming up with it is Reed, but I believe the officials are going to call the play dead, and Reed is more than a bit upset about the whole circumstance.
Well, you have to say, emotions are running very high. Nothing fancy with this play. Pulling the guard across in front of it, and the lead back up there, the power off the right guard side. And, of course, the pursuit, there's not a whole lot of action going on. The ball kind of rolling out, but the pile up early, the official declared the play dead.
2nd and 6 after that 4-yard pickup by Sidney. And now Vincent White, number 44, is in as the tailback in the I formation. James is flanked to the right and Durden to the left. Mortensen gives the ball to White. Outside, Vince has got some speed. He's out to the 35-yard line, maybe the 36. Reed there to bring him down.
Good job by White veering it outside. He wanted to go up off the left guard, left tackle area, but again, pretty well controlled at the line of scrimmage by the defense. And White, with that good quickness and the good vision to read it, bounced outside and picked up some nice real estate.
3rd and a yard to go. White comes out now. Canada comes out. Durden comes out. Bo Matthews is in the ball game. Sidney is back in. One thing that is troubling White is the fact that he's been with the ball club a short period of time and really, I'm sure, is still learning the formations and plays, which puts an added burden on him.
Big play here. Big 3rd down.
No question about that. 2 tight ends to bookend the line. Blocking strength. James is in as a wing back. Back to throw. Mortensen going to get rushed. Fires it. Complete to Sidney. Midfield. 40. Fumbles the ball. It's on the turf. Sidney falls back on top of it. Oh, Billy Caesar knocked it loose, but Harry Sidney had the presence of mind to roll back on that football down at the 38-yard line.
Well, there's a gutsy call by Craig Morton. The play action coming to that side. Sidney, the up back, will be coming into your picture as Walker dusts Mortensen. Sidney beating the back to that side. Now you see it get hit. The ball's going to lay there. Nobody really for Denver as they overrun it. Sidney in the right position, the right spot at the right time. Morton says, whoo, we're living right.
Craig Morton is calling the plays for his quarterbacks tonight in his debut as head coach. I've got to believe he's having the time of his life. He leads 21-19. 1st down at the 38. That's Bo Matthews trying to go outside. Good effort by Mo. They strung him out. Bo was strung out by that linebacker McPherson coming up to help out D'Amico. And Bo gave it his best shot running laterally and just got to the 39 for a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 now.
Well, they made a big 3rd down play on that pass to Sidney. But this Birmingham defense, with just 5 minutes to go as it's dropping to 4:59, they've got to keep Denver out of field goal range, let alone get it back and sustain a drive of their own and get a shot at some points.
At the 39, we've got James to the right side, Durden flanked to the left. Bo Matthews along with Sidney in the backfield. That's White back there. Now Mortensen going to have to run. Gets to the 35. Klein pulls him down.
Good.
Pickup of 4, be 3rd and 7.
Good play by Klein. They had the 4-man rush in. Klein fell back off, going to the inside. You'll see Klein as Walker 75 goes to the right. Klein will come from the left. He's playing off the tackle, 98, comes back in and drops Mortensen. Good adjustment. Mortensen had some running room had he gotten by Klein, but an excellent reaction on Klein's part, both shedding the offensive tackle and reading the play to get back into it.
Flanked wide to the left side now is Matheny, new member of the ball club, number 83. Mortensen is at the Birmingham 35. Handoff straight ahead, Bo Matthews to about the 32. Spencer, number 55, that's Billy Caesar. Boy, I tell you, what an active ball player Caesar is. He seems to be everywhere.
He really is. And now the field goal team coming in. This will be about, well, roughly a 48 or 49-yard field goal. So the air is light up here, and Denver has a chance to increase that lead a little bit.
Spielman's hit 2 from 50. In fact, a 50-yarder defeated Birmingham in the first meeting between these two. And now he'll be trying from the 39. We'll call it a 49-yard try by Brian Spielman. He's 2 for 4 in that range bracket. One of them came against Los Angeles. The other previous 50-yarder came against this Birmingham ball club. He hits it. It's got the distance. It's wide to the left. So Spielman misses. Birmingham is still alive. 3 minutes to go. They trail by 2. Wonder what kind of a game they've got up there tonight. What a beautiful shot of the moon as it shines down here on the beautiful mile-high city of Denver. Denver Gold, somebody in the truck, waxing poetic. Don't miss that lacrosse contest on Sunday. Johns Hopkins and Syracuse. Trivia question for you. Don Heinrich, one of the greatest football players that ever carried the football, National Football League, was a magnificent lacrosse player at Syracuse. Name, please?
Jimmy Brown.
You got it. You've been reading, huh?
No. I just want to let you know I remember those little things. Either that or I reach back that far.
3 minutes remain. Birmingham is down by 2. A field goal could win it. They start at their 32. Denver's defense upends Lonnie Johnson as he gets out to about the 34-yard line.
Well, Birmingham didn't get a whole lot there, and what they would like to do with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left is make a long sustained drive and get at least a decent shot at the field goal, if not 6 points, run that clock down and not give Denver a chance with it as the officials take a timeout.
We got a shaken up player down there. That's number 59. That's Kyle Whittingham shaken up. He's coming off. We'll take a timeout with 2.5 to go. Denver still leads. Craig Morton, one of the writers, called him Old Rickety Knees. What a debut he's having tonight. His team leads 21-19. He's hanging on, and his defense has been superb. His offense sputtering a bit, but all in all, it's been a sensational debut for the new head coach of the Denver Gold.
And Kyle Whittingham on the sideline, sitting on the bench, been on his feet a couple times. His dad, Coach Whittingham, with the Los Angeles Rams now, formerly at BYU, coaching, a great linebacker in his own right with the Rams, with the Eagles, and with the New Orleans Saints.
Lane is back to pass. 2nd and 8. Fires it down the side. Caught up on top of the receiver is David Martin. And over there as well for this Denver defensive unit is Gherkin. And at the bottom of the pile is Smith.
Well, a crucial catch to pick up the first down at this point.
2 minutes and 5 seconds. We're coming down to the 2-minute warning mark here. The ball will be at the Birmingham 45-yard line as we come to the... Well, the officials have stopped the clock to make it a first down, and now they'll start it up again. Mark it first down, mark it ready for play, and then we'll have the 2-minute warning. There it is, 2 minutes now. So a second ticks away, and we've got 2 minutes to go in the game as Denver leads by 2. Don't go away. The ball will be at the 45-yard line. Birmingham down by 2 has the ball on their 45, and 2 minutes remaining in this game. And remember that Norwood has kicked 2 field goals in the ball game tonight. He has 18 out of 25. He's kicked 2 of 3, and both of them 42-yarders. Yes, Don?
And Kyle Whittingham back in. Got his bell rung for a moment, but he's okay.
Lane having a very nice night, but he's been intercepted twice. Dancing about, looking. Oh, my, how fortunate that he wasn't picked off by Kyle Whittingham. Oh, Lane got away with one.
Yes, he did. That's about the 3rd time tonight. He didn't get away with 2 earlier that were picked off. 1 returned for the touchdown. But he's flirting with disaster. Kyle Whittingham, just having come in, showed that he's all right. He's got his senses about him, knew his responsibility, and very nearly picked that ball off.
So White checks into the backfield now for Birmingham, and who's going out? It'll be Mason, the tight end. So they're going with the wideouts. That'd be Anderson coming toward you, and to the far side will be Frederick. Smith is set in the slot on the right side. Lane from his 45, hands off, big opening. Talton buries himself at about the 46-yard line. Just ran his nose right into the turf there as he crossed midfield. Very close to the first down, but he's going to be shy. It'll be 3rd and a yard. The ball at the Denver 46. And now Mason comes back in, obviously with a call from the bench. Raleigh Dutch. Time, minute 32, minute 31. Remember, with the first down, the clock stops. But Birmingham is still now 3rd and 1 at the Denver 46. Lane sneaks for the first down, and that'll stop the clock with a minute 19. 1st and 10, Birmingham on the Denver 44-yard line.
And Birmingham still has 3 timeouts left here in the second half, which could be extremely important.
Raleigh Dodge was signaling he wanted to take a timeout, and he's going to do that as Smith went over to talk to the head coach, and now Lane walks over to talk to the man who runs things for the Birmingham Stallions. We'll repeat again in case you've just joined us the importance of this game for Birmingham. Though they played Monday night against Michigan, a very tough game that they won in overtime, here they are 3 days later back at it. They'll get a rest now till a week from Sunday, but coming up on their schedule, 2 with Tampa Bay, one with Philly, one with Chicago, and one with Boston. And of course, Monday night, Tampa Bay at Michigan, and Chicago hosting Arizona. Game we'll be covering. In fact, you'll see both on ESPN. It is a very tight race in that Central Division, and Rolly Dutch is trying to get his ball club a playoff spot. Of course, Boston in the Atlantic Division, right there at 7-5 also, so it's going to go right to the wire.
It really is, and we've got a great football game going here this evening. Not one of these fans, I don't believe, have left this football stadium as yet at Mile High Stadium here in Denver. Morton talking on the sidelines to his players, a little encouragement.
You know, I kidded him yesterday, Don. I said, going to reactivate yourself? He said, I threw the ball once today, and it hurt. And then he looked at me and he grinned. He said, next week I may throw it 2 or 3 times. But I doubt that there's any thought that Craig, at 39 or thereabouts after 19 years in the NFL, would come back to coach, although his boyish good looks belie the fact that he's very near 40. It is 1st and 10. The ball at the 44-yard line. Back to throw is Lane. Great protection. Airs it out downfield for Smith. Intercepted. Picked off by Martin. At the 5. 10. 15 and out of bounds. Flag goes down. Clipping could be the call on Denver. But with 1:06 to go, Lane is intercepted for the 3rd time.
From an end zone shot, the secondary dropping deep, doubling in and out on both sides. As you see, the ball overthrown, played perfectly by Martin, and there was an opportunity for the receiver to try and get a hand in there. It looked like Lane was throwing a lead pass to Martin at that point. The other angle at that stage, looking at it again, where Smith just couldn't quite get his feet under him, watching Smith go downfield. Watch the blind side from the back right there. Woohoo! Those kind hurt.
So play resumes after this timeout as Denver has the ball and leads by 2.
We have an illegal block on the run back by the offense, number 68.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Budweiser's most valuable player of the game. Our vote here goes to Mortensen of the Denver Gold. His 2 touchdown runs have put his ball club on top. He may have to share a little bit of that Budweiser with some defensive backs like Dumars and a 78-yard touchdown return, Martin with his 3rd interception of the year, and Miller with his 1st. All had a hand in this Denver 2-point advantage. The game not over yet, but for now, Fred, for all you do, this Bud's for you, but spread it around among the defensive backs, will you?
Well, you know that he appreciates what they did, and you know he appreciates what that offensive line did, and he's certainly deserving for his first full ball game to have scored a couple of touchdowns to be the MVP. You know, you look back, in his college career, here's a little bit of trivia for you. Mortensen was a Chinese major at Arizona State. Now, I don't know what that has to do with football. He knows a lot about crowds, as he ran it in there a couple of times.
Greg Anderson is shaken up. He was the victim of that crackback illegal block thrown on the return, and I think from where he's from the indication of the injury, I wouldn't be a bit surprised he's suffering severe back spasms, because he's been almost convulsing down there, and they're examining his lower back, and he appears to be in a lot of pain. It's an unfortunate circumstance. Coming up this weekend, a lot of action in the United States Football League. LA will be at Oakland tomorrow, New Jersey at Washington, Philadelphia at Boston. That'll be an important ball game. Boston, of course, trying to get a wild card berth. And Monday, we've got the big doubleheader on ESPN. We'll open up with Tampa Bay at Michigan and Arizona at Chicago.
You know, you go back to that interception by David Martin right here to give the ball to the Denver Gold. They went to Smith at that point, and Smith was running a hook-and-go type of move. Rather than kind of take their 10, 12, 15 yards if they could, they tried to go for it all at once, make the big play, and Lane, who coming into this game had just 8 interceptions, had 3 tonight, so that's 1/3 of what he has done to this point in that 5-game winning streak, has made several crucial mistakes. One return for a touchdown by Dumars, the strong safety. This crucial one, if anything, at that point you're saying if you can't hit Smith, you've got to throw that football away. And whether he was trying to just overthrow it to the point that it would be back in the end zone somewhere, he did not. and Martin, playing it perfectly, picked it off and gives Craig Morton in his coaching debut right now on the verge of a victory.
Well, there's something we did not want to see. The stretcher has come out for Anderson, and we seem to have a feeling of deja vu. It wasn't that many days ago we watched the great tight end Raymond Chester go off the field on a stretcher. He, I think, will probably play tomorrow, only a neck sprain. Fortunate there.
Living in the Bay Area, I saw an interview with him, and he said that he wanted to play this week if he possibly could. So for the fans around the country that were watching that game, where all the precautions are taken to make sure on those neck injuries or back injuries, we're happy to report that Raymond Chester is back and healthy. Was certainly sore about it. I happened to ride home on the plane with him, and he said he had a stiff neck, but healthy enough to play again.
Injured player going off the field. Will be back. 1:05 remaining in this game. 21-19, Denver leading here, and we're getting Anderson placed on a stretcher as the crowd of better than 30,000 we've had a lot to cheer about tonight. This Denver ball club has been an opportunistic one, to be sure, and as a result of a 78-yard interception returned by Dumars, 2 runs by Mortensen of short yardage, Ron Blanding, who was good enough to come by at halftime and visit with us, down on the bench, sideline celebrating with his team, barring a complete mishap by his club on top. 21-19 figures to win this one, although the Birmingham Stallions have 3 timeouts left, and the scoreboard says 3, and the Gold have 2 left according to the scoreboard.
You look at the situation right now as far as Birmingham is concerned. Even if they have 3 timeouts, it's going to be tough to get an opportunity to get that football back. But you go back, and often is said, the turnovers are so important, and what you do with those turnovers. The fumble tonight at the 11-yard line, where they took it on in for 6 points with the option run at that stage by Fred Mortensen. The interception that was returned some 78 yards by David Dumars. 3 interceptions as the game went along. So there are 4 turnovers, 2 of which were capitalized on significantly.
And the other 2, the interception across the way by Miller, and this one here by Martin, stopped 2 very big Birmingham drives. So in their own way, they forced the Birmingham Ball Club to go from offense to defense. So Raleigh Dotch apparently is going to have his winning streak end at 5, and as a result, his team will now be 7-6. We'll take a look, if we may, at the standings in the Pacific Division, or at least we'll run down them for you. If this ball game ends as it is now, why, Denver will be 5-8. Arizona playing Monday night will be 4-8. They're going against Chicago. Los Angeles plays Oakland tomorrow. Los Angeles leading at 6-6. Oakland is at 5-7. Now then, if Oakland wins tomorrow, they'll go to 6-7. So will Los Angeles. Denver will be just a game back at 5-8. Should Arizona win Monday night against Chicago, they too would be just a game out of the top spot in the Pacific Division, which is really a tight one. Highly competitive, though not nearly as romantic figure-wise as the Central Division. You see Tampa Bay, they'll be playing Michigan. They're 9-3. Birmingham now figures to go to 7-6. And of course now they'll be looking to get some help from their friends. We wish you well, Mr. Anderson. I hope that the injury is not nearly as serious as it appears to be. Godspeed. First down now, and the ball is at the 6-yard line. Mortensen hands off. Birmingham's defense buries the running back. That's Sidney right at the 6-yard line. Little or no gain. Clock shows 1:01, and now we've had a timeout taken to stop the clock. Now the Birmingham Stallions have 2 timeouts left. Can you consider and think of the frustration of this Birmingham Ball Club? They will have all these statistics on their side of the ledger. A preponderance of first downs, 25-9. Yardage over 300 yards to about 200. And yet, as it was in the first game, every statistic belonged to Birmingham except the scoreboard.
But strange things can happen, and with the 2 timeouts remaining, they get them called quickly enough. Should the Denver Gold not pick up a first down, they could keep them within a matter of 30 to 40 seconds to get one more shot with that football, and kicking deep in their own territory, assuming they get them 3 and out. And I would think that Denver might even take a penalty when they go back there to punt, let that 30-second clock run, but they could get it in halfway decent field position and get one more turn at it.
Well, and bear in mind that Norwood is a very gifted field goal man. The young kicker's kicked 2 42-yarders. He already has had a 50-yarder this year, so he's got the foot to handle it, and in this thin, rarefied mountain mile-high air, why, he might just have enough foot to kick it from an awfully long distance here.
Well, it's up to the defense to get them out quickly and not give up any yards and get those timeouts called in a hurry.
Clock will not start till the ball is snapped. We've got 1:01. The ball is at the 6. Denver trying to hold on to a 21-19 advantage. Mortensen, he's been named our Budweiser player of the game. Handoff, Larry Canada. Good bull-like rush by Canada. Takes it out very close to the 8. And now another whistle, and Dave Kamansky, the referee, signals still another timeout, and that reduces Birmingham's timeouts to 1 now, as the Stallions stop it again. Raines was there to make the tackle on Canada, and the progress on the football mark it out to the 8-yard line. Well, we've certainly enjoyed this ball game. We hope that you've enjoyed it along with us. We've had a lot to talk about tonight. You see Kamansky over now checking with Dutch, and I don't know, just doing a little bookwork, I guess, making sure he's got the right guy to call the timeouts.
Len Kazmarek, the back judge, talking with one of the Birmingham players, reminding him, you know, it's just one timeout left, fellas, so they try to keep everybody aware. Another thing the officials do, of course, tonight they're wearing shorts here in the warm weather, but they wear an armband. They put an armband on their arms in that last 2-minute period. Just another reminder to both benches as well as the players on the field that they're into the 2-minute situation.
There's the crowd. This is the best supported franchise, most watched in the United States Football League. And, of course, they'll be hosting the United States Football League's first ever championship game. Whoever the two teams will be, that'll be July the 17th here at Mile High Stadium. What a festive day that'll be for the United States Football League and, of course, for the city of Denver. A well-deserved honor. Great football fans here in this city.
They certainly are. Despite 38,000 plus this evening, they're averaging slightly over 42,000.
Wide to the right side is James. Canada's in there now as the up back in that I formation. 3rd down and 7 from the 9. And Mortensen using the clock, and he hands off and breaking it for the first down is Canada. And that may be as big a play as this ball game has had.
And guess who they went over? The left guard, Glenn Hyde, the old pro, and he opened a big hole, and Larry Canada took it.
Well, another old pro, Canada. He starred with the new coach, Craig Morton. They were both Bronco teammates for a number of successful seasons. And speaking of Craig Morton, there he is. Well, our congratulations to you, Coach. What a magnificent debut, and we wish you and the franchise the best. He's accepting congratulations along the side and passing them out. Delightful guy. Came out of the broadcasting booth this week, and he's down there in his first ever coaching debut. And he looks like he's got a winner. 20 seconds remaining, and Mortensen falls on the ball. 14 seconds. Don, thank you. Look forward to the Arizona-Chicago game Monday. And don't forget, as Morton gets congratulations from everybody, it'll be Tampa Bay and Michigan to open up our big doubleheader on Monday night. The game's over. The crowd loved it. And Craig Morton wins his debut. The final score, Denver 21, Birmingham 19. Now back to Tom Mees in Bristol.
Thank you very much, Tom Kelly. A crowd of over 38,000 showing up at Mile High Stadium tonight to watch the Denver Gold pull off the upset over the Birmingham Stallions. The final score 21-19. In the final analysis, 3 interceptions played a big part in the downfall of the Birmingham Stallions. One of those returned for 78 yards for a touchdown by David Dumars. The Denver Gold pulled the upset over Birmingham. Final score, Denver 21 and the Birmingham Stallions 19. For Tom Kelly and Don Heinrich, I'm Tom Mees. Good night, everyone.